afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Louisville, Kentucky and Cardinal Stadium, home of the Louisville football Cardinals. Today's action has a high school game. As a matter of fact, it's going to be the single-A state championship playoff games against Pikeville against Harrodsburg. And joining me for reaction today is Paul Horning. And Paul, during your career, you called plays, and I added extra points during my career. But today we're going to change. I'm going to call the plays. You're going to add some extra points. But how about today's game?
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Pete. I'm really looking forward to it. It's been 25 years since I've worked high school, and looking back, 1963, I did some high school football right here in Louisville, so I'm really looking forward. You cannot help but admire Harrodsburg. They've only dressed 20 football players up there, and of course, Pikeville, they've got a wonderful program down there, and they've got about 65 kids. They're heavily favored by 4 or 5 touchdowns, and Harrodsburg, folks, only has 20 kids out here to play both ways, offense and defense. So this really should be David against Goliath. It should be. It certainly should. Also joining us in the booth this afternoon will be Jim Fraser. Jim knows a little bit more about the Pikeville Panthers.
Well, they've got the outstanding team. They've got all the nicknames. They've got the big dog defense, and they can really hit you. And they've got the twin turbans, the running backs, Greg Hackney and Bobby DeRamus. Those fellas, they've run behind a huge offensive line for Class A football. They can really get it done. They've got a fine quarterback. He's the son of the coach, Jason Howard. I think we're going to see a good game here, however, because Pikeville has had some problems in the first half of their last couple of games. They've been tied at the half the last couple of times. So I think you'll see a good first half, and maybe a little bit of the strength of Pikeville may wear down Harrodsburg as we go on.
Well, it certainly appears that way because there is a vast difference. As Paul mentioned, it could be David against Goliath, but we'll find out a little bit more in a few minutes. Jim will be back in a moment with Coach Howard after these words from some of our sponsors.
Hi, I'm George Page for Nature. For the past 6 years, our nature camera crews have traveled the world to capture on film some of its most fascinating creatures. Our new season promises to be even more spectacular, highlighted by a visit to Australia for a 6-part miniseries from Down Under. Join me for our big new 7th season as we celebrate together the wonders of nature.
Sundays at 7, 6 Central on KET.
The Kentuckians wish to make a new treaty with the Cherokees. It shall be known forever as the Cherokee-Cane Treaty, and shall read, "We, the people of the Cherokee Nation and the people of Kentucky, in friendly council here assembled, do make this solemn compact, to last until such time as the sun shall no longer rise in the east, the birds no longer sing, and green things no longer grow upon the earth. We, the people of the Cherokee Nation, do agree to send a delegation to Barberville, Kentucky, to visit our Kentucky friends. We, the people of Kentucky, do agree to repay the kindness of the Cherokees with gifts of cane. We, the people of Kentucky, affirm and believe that Kentucky cane, woven with Cherokee skill and artistry, will make baskets strong and filled with friendship."
And welcome back, folks. We're about ready for the coin toss. As a matter of fact, we have a coin toss. The players are down there shaking hands, as you can see. The weather here today is somewhat cold. We had a very, very chill factor go through last night. Matter of fact, the temperature got down to in the lower 20s, and it was quite a bit of frost on the old pumpkin, Paul, this morning when we woke up. But we'll take a look down. The introductions just got through. The captains and the coin toss is going to happen momentarily.
Yeah, Pete, but the weather won't bother these kids. It's a little bit chilly out there, but as far as for football, it's absolutely perfect. In fact, I really believe this is one of the best days we've ever seen this late in the year for any kind of a championship game here in Kentucky.
There's no question about it. Of course, we started out in high school ball calling games in the late summer, then it changed to fall, and now we've got a brisk, cloudless, beautiful, sunny winter day here at Cardinal Stadium, and it should be an exciting afternoon. Coin toss just happened. The official now is unveiling who will receive.
I get a kick out of Harrodsburg. I can't help but there's 3 young men down there representing the Harrodsburg team, and that's 1/7 of the whole football team out there, folks, that are the captains. They only have 21, I think, suited up. I'm trying to count right now, and of course, Pikeville, the Panthers, with their great tradition, I guarantee you they got 55, 65 kids suited up for this one. They're big, heavy favorites to repeat as champions once again, Pete. And this could be very interesting. Jim tells us that Pikeville, the last couple of games, have had a hard time moving the football in the first half.
I can't understand that because they certainly have a very, very good-sized football team and are well-coached by Hilliard Howard. Of course, it is a super job by the entire coaching staff. Also, Coach Jones from Harrodsburg. We're about ready for the opening kickoff as we take the field camera and pan through. You can just about see the different sizes of some of these players. And, of course, Jim, I think he's now about almost ready to join us. Came up from doing the interview with Coach Howard. So we were about ready to get this thing kicked off here, sir.
Oh, yeah, it should be an outstanding game. I believe Paul's got a little comment here.
Well, I got a comment, Jim. I want you to, and everybody to be aware of one thing. There's a number 42 that plays with Pikeville. His name is Bobby DeRamus, and I want a little bit more on him. He's a halfback, an all-state halfback at this level, and he also plays nose guard. And Pete, I want to tell you something. There are not too many halfbacks I've ever seen tough enough to put their nose in the ground
to come over
that nose guard position.
To come over and play down in the line of scrimmage where you're going to get banged down by offensive linemen from both sides. It takes one tough cookie.
What happened? What he scored 3 touchdowns last week and make a lot of tackles too.
He sure does, and he plays just an outstanding game on both sides of the ball. Of course, he's all-state, Paul, and he can really get it done. His teammate there in the backfield, Greg Hackney, can really get it done.
What about Harrodsburg? Who are we going to take a look at as far as their stars?
Well, I'd say their quarterback, you've got to start with him, Brad Matherly. He's thrown for over 1,200 yards and 13 touchdowns this year. Their leading receiver is a guy by the name of Quayle Yates. He's got 19 catches, 517 yards, and 10 touchdowns. They've also got a fine running back in Joey Yates, 550 yards on the year, 4.4 average. Gary Ford will back him up, 729 yards, 5.9 average.
Of course, Pikeville will try to run it. Folks, Pikeville will outweigh in the line about 65 to 70 pounds per man. Here we go.
We're off. Yes, sir. We have the ball being received by Pikeville. There's a big hole up the middle, and he's out to the 36 or 37-yard line. Tremendous blocking up front on that return team by Pikeville.
That was David Honecker. Check that.
That was Hackney that returned that ball all the way out to the 37-yard line. We have, of course, a 1st and 10 as the officials crank the ball up. A 1st and 10 for Pikeville at the 37-yard line. We have Jason Howard, of course, bringing them up. There's 2 tight ends on the wishbone set. These barking signals right there. Turns around. It's a direct handoff right to number 43, Bobby DeRamus. He picks up just a couple yards. The ball is out to about the 40.
Kevin Arnold checks in right away, gives the play out.
Of course, in on that tackle, Paul, was Chris Browning, and he's a college prospect for Harrodsburg. Once again, Pikeville is up the line of scrimmage in that wishbone formation. Barking signals. They fake it to DeRamus. And a loss on the play. A good defensive tackle coming up from the secondary spot was Michael Yates making the tackle on Jason Howard for a minus yardage. It's now at the 39-yard line.
I don't have to tell you that everybody at Harrodsburg plays both ways. 9 of them play both ways for Harrodsburg, and that was a great. They covered the option beautifully that time, and Pikeville, of course, well coached. They run the option out of the wishbone, and the other team, Harrodsburg, playing the old college defense, a little split 6 now.
Okay, it was a 3rd down and 8 yards, and with the handoff is number 34, Greg Hackney. He's going to be up close to a 1st down, and I don't see the official marking the 1st down yet, but it's going to be close. A big hole on the right-hand side of that offensive set for Hackney, and it's going to be up very close to a 1st down. Matter of fact, yes, the officials have marked it as a 1st down.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times on 3rd and long yardage, it'd be a passing situation. Not for Pikeville. They have a lot of confidence in running it in that situation.
Okay, it's a handoff once again. Back to Hackney. He's off to the left side, a little counter action. Looks as though he picked up about 4 or 5 yards, Paul. It should be now a 2nd down and about 4.
I've been watching David Cox, the up back in that wishbone. He's really the key to all the inside running attack as we take a look, because if you watch the back, look at the nice hole there, and one of the good blocks was David Cox, the fullback. Now they go to the I formation with Cox, the up back.
Right, in an I-pro formation, just a straight handoff right straight ahead to Greg Hackney. Picks up another Pikeville first down. The ball is now in Harrodsburg territory all the way down to the 38-yard line. If you just joined us, folks, we have 9:56 left in the first quarter. The score is 0-0 Pikeville versus Harrodsburg, and Pikeville is on a march.
You know, Paul, I think you'll see that Coach Hillard Howard loves to take it between the tackles when he feels he's got the advantage. And right now, he's just going right at it.
He's got the advantage. These kids are so much bigger than Harrodsburg.
Up the line of scrimmage again, and off the left side this time. It's number 42, Bobby Doremus. And a good play coming up from the secondary for Harrodsburg. A nice tackle out there. Of course, we did pick up, Pikeville did pick up, looks like about 5 yards. So we'll have 2nd down and 5. The ball is at the 33-yard line on the left hash for Pikeville.
I tell you, number 65, Larry Willem saved the touchdown there for Harrodsburg. They're playing a little gap defense. Nobody head up the center. 2 down linemen, the linebacker standing in a 2-point stance.
Counter handoff, this time back to the right side for Greg Hackney. Picks up about another 3 or 4 yards. The ball is down to the 29-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and looks like about a yard, Paul.
There's 2 big offensive tackles really doing a job up front. Watch Michael Yates come up in the Harrodsburg defensive secondary. There's a big hole there, and that is the safety man sticking his head in there, making the tackle. So that means, actually, Pete, that the offensive guards and tackles and that tight end is doing a good job for Pike.
They certainly are. And Harrodsburg blitzes, number 51 in the backfield. Looks as though he may, Noah Pankney, looks as though he may keep Pikeville from getting a first down. Yes, it is. It's now going to be 4th down and 1. The ball is on the Harrodsburg 29-yard line.
Well, if they're going to stay in that even man defense, they're going to have to blitz, Pete. They're outweighed so much up front. They're going to have to surprise the offensive line of Pikeville and blitz in the gaps.
There's no
Watch
question.
those 2 inside linebackers.
That's what they did last time. We'll watch it this time. And again, here they come again, another blitz.
I don't think
it was on the right side, the handoff to Greg Hackney over the right side, and it's going to be very, very close. And it didn't appear as though Pikeville did make that first down. I'm sure the officials may come out for a measurement on this one.
If they did make it, they're going to get a good spot, I'll tell you this, because he was pushed back right there. He did not get to the 42-yard line.
It didn't appear on that replay that we just took a look at, didn't appear as though he was going to get to
the 28-yard
line. He did not.
No, sir.
He did not. Harrodsburg holds on Pikeville's first possession. We have 8:03 left in the first quarter. It's 0-0 Pikeville versus Harrodsburg, and Pikeville was held at that first possession. Now Harrodsburg has a shot at that offensive unit. The Pioneers will come out. Of course, they are led by number 10, Brad Matherly. He is their quarterback and sort of that offensive leader.
He's 5'10", 170 pounds, a senior. We've got a timeout on the field.
Okay, we have a timeout on the field as Harrodsburg, it appears as though they may need to take a little breather. As you mentioned, Paul, they are somewhat thin in the ranks. They only dress 19 people, most of them playing both ways, and we're looking at their roster prior to the game and a little meeting this morning, and they barely have 4 or 5 guys over 6 feet and maybe one or maybe none over 200 pounds. I don't think I saw anyone over 200 pounds.
Well, I'll tell you what, the head coach and athletic director, Alvis Johnson, has really done just a wonderful job. Come on in here, Jimmy, Billy Bob, and tell us a little something about this big underdog team, the Harrodsburg Pioneers.
Okay, we sure will. They've won 8 straight. They played Somerset. It was their last loss. Somerset down them 18-13. We found out in that game that Somerset couldn't power it against this Harrodsburg team, and Pikeville in that last instance there couldn't do it as well. In the playoff win over Paris, 31-6, it was the first playoff win for Harrodsburg in 13 years.
There's my little halfback. He's down there in a 3-point stance, playing head up the right guard. I love it.
Okay, it's a toss sweep left. Pitch back to number 5. Big hole on that left side. Very nice run and blocking out there. Good run by number 5.
Great tackle by Jody Brown.
We got Jody Yates, yes sir. Number 5, Jody Yates did a great job running on that left toss sweep.
Watch Jody Brown there's the pitch. Now there's good blocking at the point of attack here, but watch 28 come up from that Pikeville secondary. Good tackle. Stuck his head right in there, and you could hear it pop all the way up here.
He not only does well on the tackling end, he picks off a couple of passes seemingly every game. Guarantee you he's got at least 10 this year.
Okay, Harrodsburg up the line of scrimmage. They break that I formation. 2 wide receivers right, and it's a handoff. Right straight has it right over the right guard area, and they're met by a pile of Pikeville players.
Doremus.
Right there, Mr. Doremus, 42, coming up off the bottom of that pile. I tell you what, Paul, that's quite unusual, the guy playing in the tackle area on defense and a running back on offense.
Boy, he is really sticking a hat in. A lot of other white hats in there as well.
Okay, 3rd down and 4 at the 35-yard line of Harrodsburg. Matherly brings him up. He's got 2 wide receivers to the right in a twins type formation. The backs are in the I formation. He drops back. It's a quick pass. Quick pass out to the right to Michael Yates, and he catches the ball and runs around the right end. And it looks as though he picks up the first down for Harrodsburg.
Good play. Went motion, threw a little screen out to the right side, and Yates got the first down.
Very nice play by Michael Yates. In on that tackle, of course, was John Blackburn, number 10, coming up from the secondary position. We take a look here at Matherly.
There it is. Good pitch. Well-designed play here, and they executed it perfectly. Yates knows where those first down sticks are, and he puts that left foot, and he got it by at least a yard.
Okay, Harrodsburg back up to the line of scrimmage. Matherly calling some signals. We have him in the I formation. Straight handoff right up the middle to the fullback, Chris Browning.
Unreal.
Had a nice hole in there, picks up 8 yards. I tell you what, this Harrodsburg team is coming out fired up, aren't they, guys?
I tell you, the key to that is exactly what you said, Pete. Nice hole. And can you imagine the guards in center here? They're outweighed about 50 pounds a man, but they're coming off the football. And look at this determined run here by Chris Browning. 2nd and 2, picked up about 8.
2nd down 2. The ball's at the 48-yard line. We have 6:01 remaining in the first quarter. It's another half tackle play to the right-hand side. Joey Yates picks up another Harrodsburg first down. Good blocking up front by that offensive line. I tell you what, this Harrodsburg crew is coming out. They're just absolutely getting after it. In on the tackle was Sean Neely, number 22 for Pikeville.
I tell you, this is just good blocking up front. Look at the block by the fullback right there. A beautiful block by Chris Browning that time. Good hole off the right side. Then he got the first down. And if you pan over to the Harrodsburg bench, there's many more civilians over there than gladiators, I'll tell you that. Look at all the people standing on the sidelines over there. There's not many football players.
Toss sweep left. Pitch back to number 9, Gary Ford. He picks up about 4 yards. And Harrodsburg has fought their way into Pikeville territory. That takes the ball down to the 41-yard line. Once again, we have no score yet as we get into the latter part of this first quarter.
I think you've got to put your hat off to the offensive line of the Harrodsburg Pioneers. Guys like Larry Willem, Shane Newby, Brent Dunlap, Neil Pankey, and Craig Vaughn are blowing holes up there.
They sure are.
They're doing a good job.
You pick up 5 yards a pop against this defensive alignment. I'll tell you, you're giving the quarterback a few options. Of course, they're going to keep it on the ground as long as they can.
Harrodsburg in a pro formation. Caught back in the backfield was the fullback, Chris Browning. In on that tackle, coming from his defensive line position, was Virgil Ray for a minus yardage. I tell you what, great play by Virgil.
Yeah, and a blown assignment on the right side blocking. Nobody blocked Virgil Ray at all. The halfback was lined up in the left halfback position. Looked like he went to the wrong side, and no blocking on the right side of that offensive line for Harrodsburg.
Okay, 3rd down and 4 once again at the 42-yard line. Harrodsburg up on the ball. Brad Matherly once again calling signals. They have 2 receivers to the right-hand side. He drops back to pass, going downfield, passes out to number 29, Michael Yates. Great throw and catch. Enough for another Harrodsburg first down. Good blocking up front by that offensive line.
And what I thought about it, Pete, was wonderful execution. Michael Yates lined up in the slot where he went in motion last time for the first down, caught the little screen pass. This time he does a deep square out pattern, and Matherly puts it right on the numbers. Beautiful pitch here. Yates beat the man to the outside and got the first down easily. Maybe they should try to throw a little bit more, Jim.
Well, Brad Matherly, he can sure do it. You know, there was a couple of guys out there for Pikeville, but just as you mentioned, Paul, Matherly put it right on the money.
Hey, 1st and 10 at the Pikeville 30-yard line. It's an off-tackle left. Big pile-up, not much of a gain at all, maybe a yard or 2 going over that left side.
This team has been averaging, what, almost 55 to 7. They've been averaging their wins by about 40 to 45 points. And one thing, if Harrodsburg keeps controlling the football, we're not going to see Pikeville score any 40 points today.
Right, they talk about the point-a-minute offense that they've got, and certainly keeping the ball away from them is going to shut that offense down. They're getting into the range for Jimmy Mailstrap. He's an exchange student from Denmark who does the kicking. We saw him earlier. He's a good one.
Okay, we have a trips formation to the left. Matherly is back to pass. He lets go a pass, and it's caught by number 9, Gary Ford. It looks like he's only going to pick up about 3 or 4 yards. It was a trips left position and a great pass from Matherly to Gary Ford on the crossing pattern. And, of course, Parker was in on the tackle, number 9 for Pikeville.
One of the great names, Parker.
I tell you, I'm impressed with Matherly. He's got a lot of poise in that pocket, puts the ball right on the money. And these kids run nice patterns also. It was a nice catch over there by Gary Ford.
They've got a 3rd down and 6 yards at the 25-yard line. Harrodsburg on a drive.
I'd watch that man right there, 29. They're putting Mr. Yates in the slot again.
Okay, it looks like it's just a little reverse back to number 29, Michael Yates. He's got blocking along the left side. He's down to the 10-yard line, cuts back across the grain, and is tackled inside the 5-yard line. Good blocking on that left side by Harrodsburg, and a great run by Michael Yates, number 29.
We've had 3 third down situations in this drive. They've gone to that young man every time, and he has come through, Pete. He's caught 2 passes for a 1st down, and now he runs in reverse. Jim, why don't you take it?
Well, he's just doing a super job right here. You see big number 65 out in front. And I tell you, Yates, his brother, Joey Yates, of course, the Yates boys are really getting it done here. What a run.
All right, we have 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line. Harrodsburg up on the line of scrimmage with an eye and a wing to the right. The toss back to number 9. He is running around the right end, Gary Ford, and it looks like he's in for the touchdown. 4 yards, toss sweep right. I tell you what, and those Harrodsburg fans are smelling upset.
Unbelievable. And as we said earlier, this team is at least a 5-touchdown underdog coming in here, and they have looked great.
I talked with Alvis Johnson earlier in the week, and he says we're not going to change a thing that we do to fit the opponent, Paul. He's interested in getting his team to do their job, and I think they're doing it outstanding right now.
Defense stops Pikeville on their first possession. They take over the football and run it right down, put 6 on the board, and now it's 7.
And the tip is
You're exactly right, Paul. Millstrap kicks that through to make it 7-0. Harrodsburg over the much-favored Pikeville Panthers, and I tell you what, the Harrodsburg crowd on the far side of the field is just absolutely having a ball in the early going. We've got 2 minutes and 14 seconds left in the 1st quarter, and of course we have the score: Harrodsburg 7, Pikeville 0. It's the kickoff. Millstrap kicks it down to the inside the 10-yard line. On the return, we have Pikeville coming out. They make them come out to about the 10-yard line. The return man was John Blackburn, and he touches that line drive punt, returns it outside the 20 to about the 24-yard line. Once again, welcome back. We've got 2:08 left in the 1st quarter. Harrodsburg is up 7-0 over Pikeville.
Well, Pikeville has seen all the defenses, I think, imaginable, Paul, in their 2-year reign here. They've won 28 games in a row, looking for number 29. Hillard Howard for a career. How do you like this? 171 up, 34 down.
It's a straight handoff. It's an I formation, a straight handoff back to number 31 for Kevin Stewart is the running back for Pikeville. Comes back, or was that, no, excuse me, that was Greg Hackney running left. I couldn't see the rest of that four. It looked like a one from up here.
Second and 5. The ball is at the Pikeville 29.
Well, there you see just an outstanding job by the Harrodsburg Pioneers. They're swarming to the ball here, not just one guy going for the tackle.
Okay, it's a handoff. Number 42, Bobby Doremus picks up nothing. That Harrodsburg defense sort of swarms in on him and absolutely makes the tackle. I tell you what, there was no gain, maybe a yard gain at best, Jim and Paul on that one, on that off tackle right. So that leaves it at 3rd down and 3, a 3rd down and long 3 at that, and the ball is at the 30-yard line.
Nice play by Gary Ford there. The 6'1", 185 junior comes up to make the stop. And Pikeville having a tough time of it here, tougher than folks anticipated.
There's no question. Okay, Howard has him at the line of scrimmage in the wishbone. It's a fake to the first man, and trying to go off tackle. Number 5, once again, does not make that first down, and number 5 comes in and does an absolute job of making the tackle. That's Joey Yates once again. And Joey, I tell you, is quite quick. He's got a very good 40 time. I understand he runs a 4.4 40-yard dash.
He can get it done. I think you're going to like this punter for Pikeville, Tim McNamee.
Okay, so Pikeville is punting the ball. That's a left-footed punter. He gets a high hanger. And back there is Michael Yates on the reception. Signals for a fair catch. So Harrodsburg has their second possession now at the 32-yard line.
Number 5, Joey Yates. The punt covered 35 yards.
That was a 35-yard punt by the punter for Pikeville, and now this is Harrodsburg's second offensive possession. They had a great defensive series right there, just allowing Pikeville 3 downs and out.
Unreal. And Matherly, who completed 3 passes in that first sequence on offense, all for first downs, actually set up that touchdown for Harrodsburg with these good throwing.
Yates has him up the line of scrimmage. It looks as though Pikeville jumps off sides. We have flags dropped everywhere by the head linesman and the field judge.
See if the left guard moved. If he didn't, it's going to go against Pikeville.
That was Sean Neely, rather.
Nope.
And Neely jumping off sides for Pikeville there.
Exactly.
Against Pikeville.
So that'll be a 5-yard penalty against Pikeville, which will put Harrodsburg into a rather advantageous first down and 5 yards to go, as opposed to, of course, the first down and 10.
I'll just ask Paul this. Paul, you think a team coming in heavily favored, and you start to struggle a little bit. You
Absolutely.
think maybe there's some problems
And
now.
especially when you jump behind, 0-7.
Right.
This team is not used to being behind. They put a lot of points on the board, and as you said, Jim, they're cocky, they're confident. They won 28 in a row, and this is not a familiar position.
Hey, the handback to number 9, Gary Ford. He tries to go off tackle right and is met by a host of Pikeville players, tries to bounce it outside and is finally brought down at about the original line of scrimmage by number 4, Tim Sanders.
I'll tell you, they've got a lot of speed from what I've seen. Harrodsburg's got some kids that can run, and speed is always dangerous. I don't care what level it is, but if you're a Pikeville fan, you're probably sitting at home saying, well, the cream will come to the top.
Well,
we'll see, right?
That's about it exactly. They've had some tough times in the first part of their playoffs the last couple of games, but just weren't able to get it done here in the first quarter.
Well, as you mentioned, that is the end of the first quarter. And of course, Harrodsburg does have the lead, 7-0 over Pikeville High School. We'll be right back after these messages.
The first stop on South American Journey. To the people, they are known as a junta. They seize control when a country is on the verge of collapse.
This is perhaps the last picture ever taken of President Allende. He was dead perhaps an hour later. Allende got a call from the military saying that they were taking over. They took ammunition boxes and rifles into the presidential palace to resist what they expected at that time would be a forceful move against the palace by the military. The change began when the police armored cars which had guarded the palace pulled out.
They promise prosperity and freedom. But promises and reality are two different things. They are dictators, and they rule with an iron will. The first stop on South American Journey.
Friday night at 8, 7 Central Time on KET, the Kentucky Network.
All right, welcome back. We're in the first couple plays of the second quarter. Harrodsburg is up 7-0 over Pikeville. Matherly has him at the line of scrimmage. A quick handoff right straight ahead to the fullback, Chris Browning. And it looks as though he picks up about 4 or 5 yards, taking it out past the 40-yard line. On the tackle was David Holly on the tackle for Pikeville. And that is a first down. The chains are rattling on the far side. And I tell you what, this is quite an impressive performance.
It really is.
By David and the typical David and Goliath. David's winning right now, by the way. 7-zip.
I'm going to ask our director to get a shot of the sideline over there on the Harrodsburg after this play. I want to point out something. There's more civilians over there than there are football players.
Matherly has them in a pro set, and it appears as though Daramus jumps off sides again for Pikeville as we see the officials coming in to discuss whether or not he was drawn off sides or whether he just jumped off sides.
Here we go again. I think it's the quarterback cadence in Matherly. He's drawing, that's the second offsides now, and almost look like a deliberate offsides. I mean, the guys are jumping way ahead of the count, so the quarterback must be drawing him offside with maybe an influx, you know, when you start saying hut, and then you raise your voice, hut, and everybody jumps offside. So I think that's what's happening. This kid's pretty sharp. Matherly is quite under control out there.
There's that shot that you wanted, Paul, and there's a lot of the civilians over there.
Look at that. You can't find too many players because they're all playing.
Okay, that was a first down and 5 play. Matherly handed back deep to Gary Ford, and he's met by a slew of Pikeville players, and it didn't appear as though, yes, he did. He did gain 1 yard. That'll make it 2nd down and 4. The ball's at the 48-yard line as we approach the 10-minute, 58-second mark, to be exact, in the second quarter.
Well, we're moving the clock. Both these teams run the football, of course, and it's really been a great high school football game so far, I would say, Pete. Haven't seen too many mistakes. Both these teams are well coached.
Very well coached. Matherly back to pass. He's going out again to number 29, Michael Yates. The pass is incomplete, and that's the first incomplete. Had he made that reception, would have put it at the 40-yard line of Pikeville.
I have done a lot of college games in my career for the past 20 years, and I've seen a lot of quarterbacks that can't maneuver like this kid. It doesn't have to. Look at him roll out to the left. He sets up. He puts it there. This pass should have been caught. Would have been a good catch, but that ball is catchable. And, of course, that was Michael Yates. That may have been the first real mistake that this team has made.
Well, they haven't won a playoff game coming into this year in 13 years. They've won 3 in a row. They're looking to make it 4.
3rd down and 5 at the 48-yard line. Matherly again back to pass. He fakes it to Michael Yates and goes deep, but the ball is well overthrown. They went for it all that time, guys. He did the fake, it down and out, and, of course, Yates turned it upfield, but Matherly overthrew him by a bunch.
He's tired, too. Take a break over there, kid. You earned it. Yes, sir. You got to play both ways. They only suited up how many, 20?
They suited up 20 fellas. I tell you now, Pikeville now, they'll be kicking now to Pikeville. Pikeville has scored a lot of touchdowns on these punt returns and so forth. They really get it done on this. They do a nice job blocking. We'll see what happens here.
I noticed a little diamond set up back there on the return, so you got these first 3 guys. Who's their main guy back there? Number 34, I see.
That'll be Hackney, but John Blackburn and Jody Brown as well.
Good kick.
Okay, the punt return is caught and tackled right there for a very, very little return. Number 51, Noel Pankey, making the stop. It'll be Pikeville ball at the 19-yard line. Good punt, good catch, but I tell you what, good field position for Harrodsburg.
Sure was. Pankey was right down there. You know, he'd been hurt earlier this year, and they were wondering if he'd be able to go, but you'll see Neil Pankey come up and just really rack the guy, really rack Jody Brown there.
Okay, 1st and 10 for Pikeville at their own 19-yard line. They come out in a strong eye to the right, 2 tight ends. And, of course, right there at the line of scrimmage is Pankey again in on the tackle. The handoff was back deep to Bobby Daramus, but I tell you what, number 51, Noel Pankey, in on the tackle again.
Pankey is doing an outstanding job. He was banged up coming into this game, but I tell you, he's ready to go this season.
I remember years back when I watched a high school basketball tournament. I would always go to the Kentucky high school basketball. I remember a team called Cuba come out. They had about maybe 84 in school. They won the state high school championship This is kind of more of the same, isn't it?
He had a second down and 9, and Pikeville ran a play-action pass, and I tell you what, almost completed that one to Jody Brown, number 28, but in on the tackle to stop him was Larry Wilhelm. Great defensive play by Wilhelm.
Well, of course, this is Class A, and what is the limits and what are the thing on the Class A that, as far as the students are concerned?
Okay, for Class A, we've got 435, and looks like for Class AA, it's 625. Get the rest to you in a moment.
Okay, the draw play back to Greg Hackney, and he goes off right-hand side. Big hole. Looks as though he picks up a Pikeville first down, drives the ball all the way out to the 31-yard line for Pikeville. I tell you what, great play.
Hackney has 2,000 yards rushing, actually 2,113 to be exact, 164 points in 1988. He's got a two-season total, Pete, of 3,800 yards rushing and 322 points. So this kid is an experienced veteran in Class A.
He certainly is, and the handoff again is to Hackney. A little counter play back to the left. Looks as though he picked up about 3 or 4 yards, driving the ball out to the 33.5-yard line. In on the tackle for Harrodsburg was number 60, Brent Dunlap.
Pikeville looks like they have that many kids out for football, Jim, but they got at least 1 out of 4 kids, I guess, out for football.
Yeah.
They got 65 or 70 down there.
They sure do. Coach Howard, and
300,
he's
400.
getting them going. The more fellas are coming out every year.
Counter play back to the right by Bobby Daramus, and he is met by a host of Harrodsburg players. He did not pick up the first down. Harrodsburg seems to be playing real good defense. In on that tackle was number 9, Gary Ford.
But Brad Matherly made the upsetting tackle right at the line of scrimmage. And he's playing, of course, that's the quarterback in here. He gets a little break now. He plays safety on defense.
Talked with Coach Johnson before the game, and he said Matherly wouldn't be back there. But I'd say once they've got the lead now, he normally plays back there. They're going to move him in there a few times.
I know, so take him out on 3rd down here and give him a little break.
That's right, 3rd down and 3 at the 38-yard line. Pikeville up to the line of scrimmage, and it looks as though he possibly may have an encroachment foul as the flags fly. The officials come in to confer. Taking a look at the referee here, and he is signaling offsides against Harrodsburg, and that will be enough, guys, for a Pikeville first down.
Encroachment. That wouldn't be an offside penalty in high school or pro, but I mean in college or pro, but here all you have to do is hit that neutral zone. They're going to blow the whistle.
I think Harrodsburg has to take a few chances and do some things
Absolutely,
like that.
and they've been doing it. They've blitzed well here in the first half and have been successful with it, especially Neil Pankey. Number 51, I think he's the key.
Okay, first down and 10 for the Panthers. It's just a counter option back to this left side. And I tell you what, here comes the Harrodsburg defense again. That was Howard on the keeper that time, and then in the tackle was number 9, Gary Ford. He only picked up 1 yard.
You think now, fellas, it looks to me like Harrodsburg is really throwing a lot of guys at the line of scrimmage. You think maybe that might open it up to the deep pass?
Well, I was just going to say, does this kid throw the ball or not, Jim? Does he have a tendency to throw the ball? It's going to be open because everybody's playing to run.
They've tried to throw the ball a lot this year, but with such running success that most of the time they haven't had to.
Okay, on that second down and 9 play, it was a counter handoff back to Hackney. He picked up, looks as though Paul and Jim, it looks as though he picked up about 6 yards. That put it down about at the 50-yard line, just over the 50. It'll be a 3rd down and a short 3.
Well, that could be a surprise, Jim. A team has never had to throw the football. They're always, they always run it with so much success and have so many points on the board that they've never really had to throw the football. They really don't have to throw the football yet. They trail 7-0, but still, I think it would be open because Harrodsburg's keying everybody against the run. They got 9 people up here.
I agree with you absolutely.
Okay, it's a handoff to Bobby Daramus, and he fumbles. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage, and it looks as though he fumbles. I don't know if they're going to blow it dead. Looks as though...
they're going to give it to Harrodsburg.
No, they are.
One referee pointed the other way.
He is. That's it. It's Harrodsburg ball.
It is. That's what I thought. It looked as though it was a fumble, and in fact, it is a fumble. Daramus on the handoff going over left tackle was hit in the backfield, fumbled the ball. Harrodsburg did recover it, and we also have a hurt player for Harrodsburg down on the field.
Let's see if we can take another look here. Here it is. Doremus off the left side, and as much as I could tell, looked like the football was coming out of there before he hit the ground, so I think it was a fumble.
Of course, it was right in that area where the sun is shining on Cardinal Stadium. The temperature should get up in the high 40s today. as we are looking at one of the players appears to be hurt.
It's in the high 40s now.
High 40s now?
You must have cold blood or something, you know.
I
All
thought
right,
it
this
was
is a beautiful day. Pete thinks it's about 10 degrees below zero down there.
I hate to
You've
do
been
things.
cooking pasta too long,
I'm cooking
Peter.
too much pasta, I tell you what. We've got some pasta brewing for you up the terrace
We're gonna get it
later on. Here's the fumble as we take a look at a slow-mo replay. Good job, camera crew. Yes, sir. Right there, the ball falls out, and it's hard to see because it's right in between that sun and shade area. But a good play there by one of the Harrodsburg players.
And there's a kid down there who's hurt. That's 5% of their team is hurt.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after this. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Where's Dad? He's gone to be with Mum. They're together. Just like you and me.
Next on Masterpiece Theater, a flock of destitute Welsh orphans are transported to a new life in Canada.
The people around here are supposed to be Christian. I'd rather be a heathen.
A poignant story of heaven on earth, this week on Masterpiece Theater.
Sunday night at 9, 8 Central Time.
Welcome back. We've got 6:40 left in the second quarter. Harrodsburg is up 7-0. And Paul, what about that bench over there?
Look at it. There's their 9 substitutes over there. Now they're going to be without their big offensive tackle, the freshman, 5'9", 180 pounds. I tell you, he's been doing a great job. They had to carry him off. I think it was a knee injury. So he looks like he's going to be lost.
Well, we hate to see that.
There he is again. Doremus is offsides again.
Doremus is offsides again.
Yes, sir. I tell you, that quarterback, he's pulling them off.
He sure is. He sure enough is. And I think if you're a Pikeville fan, you've got to be a little concerned right now. Of course, if you're one of the Harrodsburg faithful, you are about ready to go crazy right now because your team is getting it done. Now you see Doremus jumping off once again, and I think, as we sort of alluded to a little earlier, Paul, when you're the heavy favorite and you come in and you're shaky a little bit.
Whenever you're playing one of those interior defensive linemen, now he's playing head up over the center. All you got to do is watch the football. Don't listen to the quarterback's voice. You got to watch that football.
Hey, it's a handoff back to the fullback, and he cracks over the left side, number 32, Chris Brown. And it appears as though he picks up a first down for Harrodsburg. It went off that left side, and in on the tackle was, once again, Bobby Doremus from his nose guard position. I tell you what, that's a very impressive drive by Harrodsburg so far.
I think it's a first down. And as we take a look over there, left guard and the left tackle doing an excellent job of blocking a much bigger personnel over there. And you know what also this does, Pete, is they're controlling the football. They're taking 30 seconds off that clock every running play. I looked over here. There's only 6 minutes left here in the second quarter. They're on top, 7-0 in Pikeville. You know, it might be getting a little bit tight.
And, you know, there's a couple of fellas who aren't suited up for Harrodsburg. Scott Darlin, a 6'1", 195 offensive defensive lineman. And
well, he would be a monster.
He would be a monster. And they've also got David Darnell, 6'1", 180. So a couple of their big boys are not here.
Here's the key right here. This kid has been very impressive as far as I'm concerned. Mr. Matherly, he's got a lot of poise.
First down and 10 for Harrodsburg. It's a handback off to number 9, Gary Ford, who tries an off-tackle play. But in on a tackle was Bobby Doremus. He roams from tackle to tackle from that nose guard position, doesn't he?
Yes, sir. He's quick. He won't play nose guard in the next football life if he continues on to the college level. I doubt very seriously you'll find him as a nose guard.
But he certainly could be one of those linebackers, though, Paul, a strong side safety, because he does have real good speed. We have second down, and looks like a long second down and 8. The ball is driven down by Harrodsburg into Pikeville territory. It's at the 37-yard line, right hash. We have one wide receiver out to the left, and wide receiver's right. Harrodsburg is in the I formation. Matherly back to pass. He's got plenty of time. And out to the left-hand side, number 83, Chris Bird, picks up his first reception of the afternoon and also picks up about 8 yards. So that's going to take the ball down inside the 30. In on the tackle was Johnny Blackburn.
The toughest pitch for a quarterback, I don't care what level you're on, whether it's pro, college, or even high school, is to go back into the pocket, set up, especially when you're kind of rolling left like this kid is, to set up and throw a sideline pattern to your left if you're a right-handed quarterback. This kid throws this as well as he does to the right. Shows me a lot of poise.
3rd down and 1. The ball's at the 30-yard line. Harrodsburg is up in the pro formation. Dotting that I back there is Gary Ford. Matherly is at the line of scrimmage. Hands off, quick opener to the left to the fullback, Chris Browning, and he picks up 7 big yards and another Harrodsburg first down. I tell you what, awfully good, impressive drive by this Harrodsburg Pioneer team.
Looked to me like Pikeville had maybe dropped back into a 4-3 situation that time, Paul. And they put their big lineman, Tim Honaker. He led the team in tackles as a freshman, the senior now. They drop him back into the middle linebacker. He came over to make the stop, but not before. Another Harrodsburg first down.
I tell you, they haven't made too many mistakes. This is a well-coached football team, this Harrodsburg team, and no turnovers. We haven't seen any turnovers here except one by Pikeville.
1st and 10 inside the 25-yard line at the 24, as a matter of fact. Matherly up, barking signals on the line of scrimmage. He drops back again to pass. This time it's a down and out. Out here to number 29, Michael Yates. And Yates is down at the 13-yard line. I tell you what, very much impressed by this Brad Matherly, guys. He is certainly doing a super job. Into that tackle for Pikeville was Jody Brown.
They just line Yates up. You know, that slot again. He's lined up down here to the right of your screen in a slot position. He goes down about 8 yards and just cuts to the outside. And there's no secret here where Matherly's going to throw the football. He had his eyes on him. He's right on the button, and Yates makes a nice catch. Nice catch.
We have a timeout on the field by Pikeville. Looks as though they're going to have to take a little break to see if they can gather their thoughts here. So, but very much impressed by this Pikeville Harrodsburg team. They are certainly doing the job on Pikeville.
Well, this is somewhat new for Pikeville. However, they have had some problems, as I mentioned, the last couple of games. In particularly when they were playing Beechwood, they fell, and Pineville 7-7 at the half both times in those games. And so they have been in these close games despite the fact in the disparity of they're averaging like 44 points and the opponent's only 7. So they have been in these situations a few times before.
Well, we're going to see if they can come back now. Their backs are against the wall, Jim. Ball rests inside the 15-yard line. I tell you one thing, if this team puts 7 points on the board, you know, this is a tremendous surprise. And I tell you, there's going to be 2 different locker rooms, I think, at halftime.
Well, I think Coach Howard will certainly blister the ears of the boys when they get into the locker room. And, of course, Coach Johnson for Harrodsburg, he's got to praise his squad. And I think if you look across the way there, I don't think anybody's sitting down in the Harrodsburg section. They're standing up. They love it.
Well, we got 3:48.
I think everybody's here from Harrodsburg. Don't you think so, Pete? Really? Look at that over there. I guarantee you, the whole town's here.
We have 3:48 left in the second quarter. Harrodsburg is inside the 20-yard line. Matter of fact, they're down at about the 13-yard line. 1st and 10. It's a handoff to the fullback Browning, and he cracks over the left guard side, but is met right at the line of scrimmage by a slew of Pikeville people. I tell you what, just an absolute super play by number 22 and number 55, Madison Halvey. Of course, number 22 is Sean Neely.
Yeah, Sean Neely made a good tackle that time.
Yeah, that was, and
here comes Joey Yates in with the play for Mr. Matherly.
2nd down and 9. The ball is at the 12-yard line.
I look down here and it just kills me. Guard, 5'7", 155 pounds. You know, it's just unbelievable, the guts of these kids. Uh-oh, he's motion. Whistle blew.
I believe that's the first mistake we've really seen from Harrodsburg here, Paul.
Really is. Man in motion, went in motion too soon. He went towards the line of scrimmage.
If he went in motion, correct me if I'm wrong, but if he goes in motion away from the line of scrimmage.
If he continued on and went away from the line of scrimmage, he could have been, look, they're going to, what? They're going to give him a touchdown on this? The whistle blew. I heard the whistle myself. Here we go.
Right. They have a motion penalty. Referee signaled against Harrodsburg. And we did, in fact, hear the whistles blow because we have our remote camera down the sideline picking up some of the sound and sights. But it appears as though it's going to be a motion penalty against Harrodsburg. That will make it now 2nd down and 14 as opposed to 2nd down and 9. Takes the ball back outside the 15-yard line to the 17. Three minutes to go in the second quarter. Once again, Harrodsburg is up 7-0 over a surprising 7-0 over Pikeville. as we see number 5, Joey Yates, checking into the huddle. Paul, these Yates brothers are doing an outstanding job for this Harrodsburg group.
Sure are, boy. Michael Yates and Joey Yates. Joey Yates, number 5, and Michael Yates, the senior wingback, has made some big, big plays for this team.
They're brothers, Paul. I'm sure they got some proud parents.
Watch it, he's throwing it. He's going to throw it. Back to the quarterback.
Pitch back to the quarterback, and it's
interference.
And it's a flag. It looks as though it's a flag on Pikeville. Yes, number 51 was interfered because it was a pitch right and a pass back to Matherly, the quarterback.
It's the old quarterback trying to run down the sidelines and get lost and be wide open, but he wasn't. Flea flicker, as we used to call it.
One of the many different types of flea flickers. You guys use flea flickers when you're at Flagey back then?
No, we didn't. Not in high school. We didn't have too many trick plays.
So when I coached at Flagey, we had a couple up our sleeves. Of course, we were in much the same situation as Harrodsburg. We only had 270 guys in the entire school. We played in the state championship finals in 1971 against Thomas Jefferson, and they probably had 2,000 students in school, but that was back when they only had 3 classes. And, of course, we tied. That's the only game. I was looking through the book. That's the only game in the history of the state championships here in Kentucky that there was ever a tie and held as a tie. First down and 10 inside the 10-yard line. The ball is on the right hash.
What year was that, 46, 47?
Hey, get off my back. That was 1980. Oh, no, it was 71. Pitch back, the right-hand sweep to Gary Ford. He tries to sweep the right end, but it looks as though there's a number of Pikeville people. Number 7, Tim McNamee, in on the tackle. There was no gain in the play, so that'll now make it second down and 10, second down and goal at the 9-yard line.
Yeah, McNamee comes up from the defensive end slot here and turns it inside, and then you'll see Tim Honaker come in, number 63, and finish it off.
We've got 2:25 left in the first quarter. Harrodsburg up 7-0 in a shocker. Matherly brings them up to the line of scrimmage. They're in a power I formation. The ball's at the 9 on the right hash. The snap back, a fake handoff. He's back to pass. He throws incomplete in the end zone, and Harrodsburg had 2 guys wide open in the end zone. Number 83, Chris Bird, and number 29, Michael Yates. They were both open, but he was rushed.
I think he was trying to go to Chris Bird. He was rushed a little bit. Chris Bird did a little corner pattern, was wide open, about 6 yards deep into that end zone. He just couldn't get the ball there. Watch Bruce Matherly. Linebacker Virgil Ray on the hurry here. There he is. You see him, and he popped him right in the right rib cage. And he actually, Mr. Ray, caused this incompletion. He's wide open, as you can see.
Yeah, those guys were open. That could have been another touch.
I'd watch number 29 again. He's out there lined up in the slot. Michael Yates, triple set left.
Triple set left is right, Paul. It's a pass, and Matherly is back. It's a middle screen, and number 32, Chris Browning, drops the middle screen. I tell you what's a great call by Alvis Johnson.
And the wide open.
It looked as though it was going to go right up to the end zone for a touchdown, but he dropped the pass. That's quite unfortunate for Harrodsburg.
Coach Johnson has his team ready. There's no question about that, and what a call here.
It's a beautiful call. Watch it. Everybody's set up left, triple set left, and he rolls a little bit to the left side. He sets up. He's got a screen back to the right side, and he's got everybody out in front of him, and he drops it. Look at here. I think he would have scored.
Ooh.
He certainly had a lot of running room, and as Pikeville takes another timeout, the clock now is down to 2:03 left in the first and the second quarter, rather, and of course Harrodsburg is up 7-0.
And now we'll get a chance to see the kicker for Harrodsburg, Jimmy Mailstrap. He's something like 7 of 8 from field goals this year, as long as 42. He's also 26 of 28 in extra points. Exchange student from Denmark, and the coaching staff was very high on this fella. He said he's made the difference for him.
Well, of course, this looks like a field goal well within anybody's range, but have they ever had a fake field goal attempt? The reason I say that is the coach for Harrodsburg tried almost everything so far here in the first half. Could we be looking at maybe a fake field goal attempt here?
Well, I think possibly. Of course, if they could tack on this field goal and make it 10-0, they'd be 2 scores up. And I think
if this kid's a good field goal kicker, I would think he'd go ahead and kick it.
Well, it will be a field goal attempt of 26 yards. The ball is snapped back. Mather leads the hold. Millstrap kicks it up, and it appears as though it hits the left upright and goes through for a field goal. Oh, my goodness. Hit the left upright and went through for 3 points for Harrodsburg. That puts them up 13-0 over the highly favored, 10-0 over the highly favored Pikeville Panthers. What a deal.
The Pikeville fans, not a lot of cheering going on right now, as they are stunned. Of course, you can see some celebrating going on across the way there. The folks in blue love it.
Well, I know Pikeville has got to be stunned coming into this game, highly favored over a small. Here we take a look at the replay. I tell you what, you guys handle it from here.
Well, he just doesn't follow through at all. He doesn't get his foot cleanly on the football. He kind of hooked it. He got very lucky here. He hits the top of the goalpost and bounds back to the right. Very lucky. He got 3, and it won't count. A month from now, he'll say, I kicked a beautiful field goal. We won 10-0. What state champ? Nobody will know the difference.
What's the old saying? I'd rather be lucky as good.
Right.
And that time he's lucky.
Well, he certainly was lucky, and as you mentioned, Paul, that hit the extreme top of the goalpost. The ball could have careened anyway, and it is bouncing Harrodsburg way in many more ways than one here at Cardinal Stadium. The kickoff, once again, by Millstrap. Kicks a line drive back. It bounces off the chest of one of the Pikeville players. Hackney picks it up and runs it out to the 31-yard line, where Pikeville will have a 1st and 10 into the tackle for Harrodsburg. It appears as though it couldn't quite get the number of that young man that made the tackle. But we've got one of the guys hurt, down on his knees. That's number 5, Joey Yates. He gets up and it appears to be okay. 1st and 10 for Pikeville. The ball's at the 31-yard line, and we only have 1:48 left in the half. The snap back, the handoff to Hackney. Big hole, left side. Cuts back across the grain and takes the ball out past the 40-yard line. It'd be very, very close to a Pikeville first down. The tackle by number 5, Joey Yates.
Almost a first down. Is it close enough? No. Yes, it is. We're going to get the first down, and then the clock will stop till they move the chains. This is not the best 2-minute drill that you'll probably ever watch when they're trying to run the football out of the eye or the wishbone, but let's see if they do throw it at all.
Howard's up the line of scrimmage. He rolls to the left. It is a pass thrown out into the end, out to the sideline to Jody Brown. He catches the ball and picks up about 7 or 8 yards and does get out of bounds, more importantly, to stop that clock once again. Into the tackle, number 32, Chris Browning for Harrodsburg.
Yep, got very lucky that time. Mr. Brown, I didn't think wanted to go out of bounds. He was trying to get an extra yard, but he was popped out of bounds to stop the clock.
2nd down and 3. The ball's at the 48-yard line. Little counter, fake, and it's a pass. Almost intercepted. Number 29, Michael Yates,
Guess who?
knocks the ball down, almost has an interception. Of course, back there with him is Gary Ford. Great defensive play by the 2 Harrodsburg players.
I tell you one thing, these kids are in shape. They play both ways, and Yates is all over the place.
That was the comment that Coach Johnson said. I asked him about the stamina of his club. He said, hey, if you're in shape, you ought to be able to play.
That's right.
3rd down and 3. Howard has him at the line of scrimmage. Once again, it's a drops back to pass. They're going for it all up the left sideline. And it looks like there was a little bumping going on, but I don't see any flags at all down on the playing surface. Back on the coverage was Gary Ford for Harrodsburg.
And Bruce Matherly. The quarterback was back there on the coverage, and he's the one that got his feet tangled up, and it wasn't incidental contact, as they say.
Well, once the ball is up in the air, either the offensive player and the defensive player, they both have the right to go for it, and they both did go for it that time and didn't have no flags at all.
All right, well, now with the 4th down and short, if Pikeville fails here, you got Harrodsburg maybe with a chance to tack on.
Oh, and I'll tell you, Matherly could throw the football. They better punt it. Here they come. Here they come.
We do have 4th down and 4. There's 1:14.
Punter's not in the game.
No, they're going to go for it.
Well, they put the punt team out, but the punter was not out there. So Pike will be forced to take a timeout.
Well, I would think they'd be forced to take a timeout unless they want to have nobody kick the football.
It appeared as though they couldn't quite make their mind up whether they wanted to go for it or punt it. And
well, you wonder if with something like that going on, maybe they would try a fake or something here, Paul.
All right, with 1:14 left in the half, we'll be right back. Harrodsburg up 10-0 over Pikeville.
Welcome to Wisteria Lodge, Mr. Holmes.
This week on Mystery, a simple case becomes complex when Holmes encounters a secret society bent on revenge.
He is waiting to dispatch you to hell, you fiends.
Who is this man, Henderson? One of the most dangerous men out of Central America.
Wisteria Lodge, next on Mystery.
Saturday night at 9, 8 Central Time.
For 20 years, KET.
Okay, welcome back. Pikeville finds themselves down 10-0. We're late in the half, 1:14 left to go before halftime, and Pikeville is going to punt the ball away to Harrodsburg. The snap is back, the punt is away, high, spiraling punt. A fair catch being called for, but then lets the ball drop, and it takes a Harrodsburg bounce. That ball is bouncing Harrodsburg away all day long, it seems today, guys. They now have a first down with 1:06 left. The ball is going to be spotted at the 29-yard line.
They'd be very happy to keep it on the ground, run out the clock, and take a 10-point lead at halftime into that locker room.
Well, I think you're right, Paul. Of course, I coached for a few years here at high school football here in the state of Kentucky and also coached at the university, and that would be my decision, just to let that clock run out. We're down to a minute in the half. Let that clock run out and take it into halftime and talk about it. Matherly brings them up there in wide receivers left and right, and it looks like a missed handoff. He appeared as though he wanted to hand the ball off to Chris Browning, but Browning went to the left and he went right, so he just took it right over the right guard. And in the play was Bobby Doremus from Pikeville.
Now, the Pikeville folks somewhat shocked, but I believe Coach Hillard Howard will right his team at the break. As I mentioned, they've been tied at the break the last couple of games, so this is not foreign to them, despite the fact of the huge margin when they play.
Harrodsburg up. It's second down and 9. Matherly has the ball, and he hands off left side this time to Browning. Browning off the left side, picks up about 3 or 4 yards going to the left side. In on the tackle was Sean Mealy. We now are down to 2-1, and we have halftime. Once again, Harrodsburg High School Pioneers up 10-0 over Pikeville. We'll be right back after a few words from our sponsor.
Hi, I'm George Page for Nature. For the past 6 years, our nature camera crews have traveled the world to capture on film some of its most fascinating creatures. Our new season promises to be even more spectacular, highlighted by a visit to Australia for a 6-part miniseries from Down Under. Join me for our big new 7th season as we celebrate together the wonders of nature.
Sundays at 7, 6 Central on KET.
Welcome back to Cardinal Stadium. We're about to start the second half of the high school A playoff championship game. First half was quite surprising, Paul Horning. We find the Harrodsburg Pioneers ahead 10-0 over the highly favored Pikeville Panthers, and I tell you what, this is a very, very surprising first half.
Someone told us that Pikeville was 4 touchdown favorites, and it looked like a little bit of a mismatch when we watched these teams warm up. Right, Pete? We looked down at one end. Harrodsburg had 20 kids in uniform, very small. Some of the guards and tackles weighed 5'7", 145, 175 pounds. Then you look on the other side of the ball, we have 65 kids dressed real properly, the Pikeville Panthers, and all of a sudden, 4 touchdown favorites, they're staring at a 10-0 deficit here at halftime, and this is a tremendous upset in the making.
There's no question about it, and what an offensive performance for Harrodsburg by number 10. Brad Matherly, the senior quarterback, was almost flawless, throwing passes to Michael Yates and to Gary Ford, and then the running of Ford Yates and Chris Browning. It has been a very, very impressive first half for Harrodsburg.
They really have. They have functioned offensively. They're coordinating everything together, Pete. They're not making any mistakes. They haven't had any turnovers. As you said, Bruce Matherly has really looked good out there. He's about 5 out of 7 for about 60 yards throwing the football, I think, and he has really been the key. The Yates brothers, Michael Yates and Joey Yates and Mr. Ford, Gary Ford, they have all put in, their time on offense. They also play on defense. As I say, there's only 20 kids suited up, but the 20 kids who suited up will fight you right down to the wire, I'll tell you that.
Well, the kickoff is going right now, and off the ball as deep as Ford. He catches the ball about the 5-yard line, takes it right up the middle. He cuts back to the right. He breaks the tackle, dives across. He fumbles the ball, and it's picked up by Pikeville. It's picked up on the bounce, and he runs for a touchdown. I'll tell you what a way to start off the second half.
The kicker, Mike McCoy.
Mike McCoy, the kicker, picks up a fumble by Ford at about the 15 to 20-yard line, picks it up and runs it in for a touchdown, and I don't see any flags, Paul and Jim, and it looks as though Pikeville's going to start right out off the get-go right here with a touchdown.
I tell you, what a break. We just got finished saying that Harrodsburg has not made any mistakes, and look at this. This is a mortal mistake here. Fumbles the kickoff, and in high school football, you can run with it. That's number 9. He had a great first half. Gary Ford, the tailback, 6'3", 192 pounds, and there he coughs up the football right here before he's tackled. Mike McCoy picks it up, and we've got it. 10-7 ball game.
Yes, sir. The extra point was good. And as you said, Paul, it is 10-7 in favor of Harrodsburg still. But what a tremendous opening the second half here on that spectacular play. I'll tell you what, that's got to make the coach Howard for Pikeville feel a lot better.
Right, and absolutely the thing that Harrodsburg couldn't do, because I think if you get a team that's heavily favored like Pikeville, if you can get them down and maybe get them a little antsy, then you're a long way away. You're a long way on your way to perhaps winning that game. And I think Pikeville was ready to be a little antsy, but they're only down by 3 now, and I think you'll see them perhaps get a lot more composed now.
Well, Ford catches it again. This time he's all the way out to the 30. He cuts back. He's across the 35, the 40, out to the 45-yard line before he's finally tackled. Very good return by number 9, Gary Ford.
What a high school football game we're seeing here, gentlemen. These guys are loading up and going at one another. And here you see on the run back, he's got some nice holes there, missed tackle. And
kid's a good runner.
Yeah, he's making some good moves through there and getting some good blocks. Bobby Doremus with the tackle.
Okay. We're back to live action. It's an off-tackle play. Number 5, Joey Yates, has absolutely stopped up at the line of scrimmage for 0 gain. Of course, the ball is spotted at the 45-yard line. We are just beginning the second half. We're early in the third quarter, 11 minutes and 12 seconds to go in the third quarter, and a good defensive stand there by Pikeville.
Yeah,
it looked like that one play, Jimmy, where one play may turn a football game around. That Big Mo may have switched jerseys, and it sure looks as if right now the momentum has gone on the other side of that football now for Pikeville.
The big dog defense is looking to bite.
Matherly is back to pass the screen up to the right side by Ford. He catches the ball and actually loses yardage. Good play over there on that far side. Number 65 coming from his defensive linebacker position was Virgil Ray in on the tackle.
I think it was a nice call by Harrodsburg there, because I thought Pikeville would really be sending a lot of fellas.
And a screen set up on the right side. Mr. Ford's got the football. Watch number 4 there. He gets a piece of the tackle. That's Tim Sanders.
Good play by Sanders. All right, 3rd down and 12. The ball's at the 43-yard line. Matherly has him up to the line of scrimmage. He drops back to pass. Good protection. He loops a high one. totally out. I think we had a miscommunication on the receiver and quarterback on that one because number 29, Michael Yates, was running toward the middle of the field. The ball was thrown out toward the left.
You can see that Harrodsburg is a little out of sync right now. They don't have their game plan operating the way the coach would like it there. That time Yates ran the wrong pattern, I'm sure of that.
Okay, it's 4th down and 12. Matherly is back to punt. He'll be punting into a very slight wind. It's more of a cross-in-your-face kind of wind. The snap is back. The punt is off. It's sort of a low-line drive spiral.
Good kick.
Good kick. It drives him back to the 22, and that's Hackney. He's coming wide to the right. He fumbled the ball, and it looks as though Pikeville did fall back on the ball. I tell you what, almost another big mistake there by Pikeville on that one.
There was a clip there that the referees missed too on the punt return.
Shannon Cochran falling on the ball for the Panthers, and we'll see it again.
Watch a clip coming up. He just had his helmet behind. I hope we got a shot of this. Trying to get the return around the right side set up. Right there, you see the guy was pushed from the back. He barely caught a piece of it.
Okay, we have 1st and 10. The ball is at the 18-yard line. Pikeville in possession. The snap back to Howard. It's a handoff back to Hackney over the left side. Good blocking on that left side. Picks up about 4 yards.
I think you'll see them go right back to the power game here, fellas, and see them try to power it up the middle. That's exactly what they did against Pikeville a couple of weeks ago and then last week against Beechwood when they found themselves tied at the half. And I don't believe you'll see Pikeville start to air it out. I believe you'll see them keep it on the ground and try to get behind that big offensive line.
No, they don't have to. They only trail by 3. Touchdown, they go ahead.
Toss sweep around this right side, and it's Hackney bullet his way over the 30-yard line. Big play into the tackle, number 5 for Harrodsburg. Of course, that's Yates in on that tackle, but I tell you what, it's going to take it up very close. Yes, it will be a 1st down for Pikeville. It will be a 1st down, and if you're just joining us for the second half of the AA championship game, we've got Harrodsburg with 10 points, Pikeville with 7. We've got a 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. It's a pitch back to Doremus, and he sweeps the left side. He's met right at the line of scrimmage, or just a little bit beyond the line of scrimmage. Right there.
Neil Pankey.
Neil Pankey in on the tackle again. Yes, it was. It was Pankey.
Well, last year when Pikeville came here, they won 28-6 over Russellville in a game that really wasn't close. But this year, they're going to have to fight for everything they get.
We have 2nd down and 7 yards. The ball's at the 34-yard line.
They didn't have to fight too hard for that touchdown, though, did they?
Not that last one, did they, Paul? The snap back, and it's a quick handoff right again to Hankey. He's over the left guard position. Good blocking up front. Good blocking up front by Pikeville over that left guard position, and now will be a 3rd down and 3.
Now, defensively for Harrodsburg, this is not a bad scheme. You're making Pikeville earn everything they get, and if you can keep them from gaining a big play, you know, theoretically they're going to have to run about 25 to 30 plays to get into that end zone, and hopefully for Harrodsburg, they might make that big mistake during that time. And we've got another injury, and they can ill afford this. They've already lost one of their tackles, and now number 32, that's Chris Browning, very important linebacker, plays on the inside, a junior who's being assisted off.
Not only does he play linebacker, Paul, he's that fullback on that offensive side of the football for Harrodsburg, and he's being assisted off. Can't quite tell if it's going to be an ankle or injury or just a cramp. It could be a cramp also.
So that's 2 players they've lost. That's 10% of their football team's been injured today.
Can't lose many more.
3rd down and 3. It's a handoff. No, it's not. He fakes it. Howard fakes it. He keeps the ball around the right side and picks up about 10 big yards. Takes the ball out to the 50-yard line. He faked the handoff on that one. Kept it around the right side on that option.
Got another injury.
Kept it on that option and picks up a big 1st down for Pikeville.
That's Michael Yates, too. They cannot lose this game. Michael Yates is down on the defense.
Paul, do you think maybe now that fatigue could become a factor at this point in time?
It looks that, you know, right now, Pikeville is completely handling Harrodsburg, especially at the line of scrimmage. And we're seeing now a couple of these kids get hurt. Michael Yates is down there now. He's laying on his back. And this is a kid who's made most of your big plays on the receiving end of some of Matherly's passes. He's also ran the football. He ran that reverse and set up the touchdown. And they better not lose this kid. He's too important to this offense.
You know, something you sort of got a glimpse there on your screen. You see both the Pikeville and the Harrodsburg trainers down there taking a look. And that's something you see in high school a lot. You see both trainers from both teams going out to take a look. The doctors, and I think that's great that they're interested.
Super. I really do.
Okay, with the score, Pioneers, the Harrodsburg Pioneers 10, the Pikeville Panthers 7. We're going to take a break and be right back.
The first stop on South American journey. To the people, they are known as a junta. They seize control when a country is on the verge of collapse.
This is perhaps the last picture ever taken of President Allende. He was dead perhaps an hour later. Allende got a call from the military saying that they were taking over. They took ammunition boxes and rifles into the presidential palace to resist what they expected at that time would be a forceful move against the palace by the military. The change began when the police armored cars which had guarded the palace pulled out.
They promise prosperity and freedom. But promises and reality are two different things. They are dictators, and they rule with an iron will. The first stop on South American Journey.
Friday night at 8, 7 Central Time on KET, the Kentucky Network.
All right, it's 1st and 10 for Pikeville at the 50-yard line. He fakes first to the fullback, then hands off to Hackney. Hackney picks up 7 big yards going over the right side. In on that tackle, once again, Neil Pankey for Harrodsburg.
Picked up an easy 6. And now Harrodsburg has got to gamble a little bit more. They had an all-out blitz on the last play. And why not? They're going to run the football. I'd blitz them too. Watch the linebackers.
2nd down and 4. It's a little counter sweeping, and it's handoff back to Doremus, who sort of counters back off of that left guard side and picks up a first down for Pikeville, driving the ball all the way down to the 36-yard line. That is a first down, and we have a timeout being signaled by the referee. Timeout Harrodsburg. We take a look at the replay here, guys.
Seeing some big holes blown up the middle there. Virtually nobody touches Doremus for the first 5 yards of the run. Guys like Shane Mills, John Pinson, Tim Honaker, Sean Neely, and Aaron Balzer are now starting to control this game. Pikeville, 14-0 this year, 14-0 last year, looking to tack on 29 in a row. And I think the Kentucky State High School record is 38 in a row by Paris. And, of course, Paris was beaten earlier this year by Harrodsburg in the playoffs, 31-6. Nice shot of some of the faithful there from Pikeville that have come down. They were sitting on their hands a little bit in the first half, but now they're up and trying to back the Panthers on here.
Well, we got 7-10 left in the third period. Harrodsburg 10, Pikeville 7, and it's quite a surprise. As we have mentioned and have talked about, Pikeville coming into the game was highly favored over the Pioneers of Harrodsburg, but they found themselves on the short end of the stick on the unlucky side of the bounce of the ball here in this first half.
Well, they're having a few more injury problems. Darrell Smith, he's out now. That's 4.
First down and 10 for Pikeville. Counter back, and it's a handoff right there to Doremus. Doremus over that right side picks up about 8 or 9 yards. The ball is going to be spotted, I believe, short of a first down. The tackle for Harrodsburg was, they're going to a quick offense. Goodness, look at this. They're back in the wishbone formation, no huddle. Coming out, and they hand the ball off once again. Back, handoff right there to number 25, David Cox. Excuse me, that's David Honaker for Pikeville playing in the backfield. There he comes. He's coming out of the game right now.
I'll tell you one thing. They've got 4 starters out. Harrodsburg right now. 4 out of 20. So they got 16 available players. We take a look at the offensive line now. Pikeville coming off the football. Good blocking up front. This kid does a good job, David Cox.
Okay, 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line. Counter dive to Doremus for Pikeville, and he cuts across the line of scrimmage, picks up 4 or 5 yards. It's going to be 2nd down and about 7.
And Pikeville now smelling that go-ahead touchdown. It'll be the first time they'll will be ahead if they can get it into the end zone now. And it's nothing fancy now. It's just right up front, tackle to tackle, and they might one or two, one wide play. It's wide open to try to go outside.
Hackney around the right side, cuts it back across the 15-yard line, takes it down to the 14.
Hey, these kids haven't quit yet. There's a lot of leather popping on that defense.
You stole my comment there, Paul. I was ready to make that observation that Harrodsburg, even though we've counted like 4 guys have gone out, they only dressed 20 players, but there's no give up in this Harrodsburg team.
We've got a key third down and 3. The ball's at the 14-yard line. Pikeville's up in the wishbone formation. He fakes back and then hands it off to Hackney.
He fumbles a lot, this kid. I've noticed he's dropped the football like 4 times, and one of the times I thought was a fumble. Number 34 for Pikeville, of course, is Greg Hackney. And he's very close to coughing up that football on 3 or 4 occasions today.
Yes, he was. That was enough for a first down. Pikeville now has a first down at the 10.5-yard line. They're up at the line of scrimmage. Howard brings them up. They're in the wishbone formation once again. The snap back, and he hands it back to Hackney. Hackney over the right guard. Cuts back across, and it's touchdown.
Doremus.
Pikeville, and it is Doremus. Now, Hackney, I'll get him straight yet.
There we go. Number 42, Mr. Doremus. The nose guard scores this for 6.
Yeah. Well, he had 3 touchdowns last week and named to the All-State team here on defense.
We've got another injury for Harrodsburg.
You see Bobby Doremus just taking it off the right side, getting the blocks from Neely and Honaker. They like to go behind those fellas. And there's the hole, and
not
there's
even
the 6.
touched. Not even touched, Jim. Goes in unscathed.
I think the Panthers smell it now, and once again, as we mentioned, we've got another player down for Harrodsburg, and that's a tough break for the Pioneers because they played such a fine first half.
Boy, that fumble on the return just turned it right around, and the kid who coughed up the football, Gary Ford, has just played a great football game today. He's a good running back, good size running back, and a great threat for Harrodsburg, and he's sitting over there on that bench.
That would certainly take the air out of anyone's balloon, so to speak, Paul, on that fumble to be scored upon so quickly and so easily in the second half of this game.
They played it so tough.
They certainly did
in the first half.
Well, we're at 5:15 left in the third quarter of the A championship. State of Kentucky, of course. Harrodsburg is now behind in the score, 10-13. The play is being held up on the extra point momentarily. It appears as though one of the Harrodsburg players is injured as they assist him off the field, and the referee now is getting the ball ready for play.
And the next game we got, Fort Knox Eagles against the Somerset Briar Jumpers.
The Jumpers of the Briar Jumpers of Somerset. You know, one thing that you fellas alluded to that we want to touch on, the Pikeville backs block so well for one another. David Cox, Greg Hackney, and Bobby Doremus are all fine blockers for one another.
The snap back, the kick, up, and the kick is good. Pikeville now goes ahead of Harrodsburg, 14-10. We're at 5:15 left in the third quarter.
Now the Panthers now begin to move it up a bit. Of course, Harrodsburg, they've lost so many players now, I believe they're really going to have to battle to keep this thing from being a blowout. Even though it's a 4-point spread right now, the Panthers, I've seen them so many times, when they start to smell blood, they'll really go after it.
I'll tell you, that means the pressure is even more so on number 10, Brad Matherly. The game's in his hands now, and he's got to do something offensively, come up with a big play, and to get keep the football away from Pikeville and maybe score, put a field goal or put some points on the board.
Okay, the kickoff is a short squib type kick. It's picked up the 25-yard line and brought forward to the 29. So the Harrodsburg Panthers will start in very, very good field position. Returning that one for Harrodsburg was Jimmy Jermaine Dunn, who is a backup fullback for Harrodsburg. And it appears as though one of the Pikeville players could possibly be injured as he's being assisted to there at about the 35-yard line.
Couldn't quite pick up the number. We'll get it to you just when we can. I hate to speculate about those things.
They you never know. It could possibly be a cramp, the wind knocked out of him. You never know. So we'll just let the officials make the decision. Of course, once they do get the players to the sideline, and we'll let the team position take a look at them. Right now, we're at 5:10 left in the third quarter. Pikeville is up 14-10 over Harrodsburg, and quite a surprise, gentlemen. It's certainly been a hard-fought game. The Harrodsburg Pioneers are now down. They've had a couple injuries themselves. They're probably down to about 16 or 17 players. Wouldn't you say, Paul?
Well, we saw 4 go out. Michael Yates tried to come back in. He limped off. He's standing over there about the 35-yard line right now. Now, he may see some action, but he won't be 100% if he does play.
And also their other wide receiver, Darrell Smith, is out. So they've got some problems right now from the injury bug. Harrodsburg Pioneers, they started off by beating Paris 31-6, then they tacked on a win over Bath County 17-12. And in the semifinals, they beat Heath 10-6. All those wins were their first playoff wins in 13 years. And
this would be the biggest one.
Oh, yeah.
Ever.
And the Pikeville Panthers, they started off by beating Williamsburg 35-0. And then they triumphed over Pineville in the closest game they played in a couple of years, 21-14. Then they beat Beechwood last week, 34-7. The injured player being helped off, I believe that's Virgil Ray. And looks to me like maybe a knee or an ankle there, fellas.
Virgil, you did yourself proud, kid. He played a good football game.
He certainly did. He's an integral part of that defense. First and 10 for Harrodsburg. The ball is at the 34-yard line. Matherly brings him up to the line of scrimmage. It's a handoff. No, it's a fake. He pitches it back to Ford, and Ford is hit for a loss back at the 29-yard line. Very good defensive play by Mr. Greg Hackney, of course, who's that great running back that Pikeville has.
They're going to have to throw the football now or keep it inside. They try to get a little bit fancy, run an option to the outside. It doesn't look like that's the strength of their offense. Strength of their offense, I would think, is to go to number 9, put him in the slot, let him do some things. I don't think Pikeville could cover him, but they've got to give him a little time to throw the football. That'd be the problem.
Second down and 15 for Harrodsburg. The ball's at the 30-yard line. We have 2 receivers out to the left side, the near side. Matherly is signals. He drops back the pass. He fakes to the right. He's going deep down the middle. A receiver wide open. That's Chris Bird, and he can't quite get to it. Boy, was he open. I tell you what, where was the coverage on that one?
You know what? He didn't throw the football within his capabilities. He tried to throw it as far as he could, and it slipped out and went sideways a little bit to the right here. As you said, the man was so wide open, it was unbelievable. That's Chris Bird. Now watch him. There's a little pump. He just tries to throw it as far as he can, and it slips out to the right. Watch Bird. He's so far behind his man. All he had to do was throw it right down the middle. It would have been 6 points.
Well, that certainly would have put Harrodsburg right back in the thick of the thing. As a matter of fact, had he caught it, he probably would have went in untouched to put Harrodsburg back on top. We do have a timeout called here, and the stats that we got at halftime, gentlemen, it didn't look as though they were quite right. It's hard to figure out some of these stats. We do have Browning with 9 attempts for 37 yards. Ford for Harrodsburg, 6 attempts for 10 yards. On the other side, they do list Hackney for Pikeville, 13 attempts for 65 yards. On the passing side of it, Matherly was 5 of 7 for 39. And, of course, Pikeville does not pass the ball very often. Howard was 1 for 3 for 7 yards.
Well, in talking with Alvis Johnson, he said this was a team of overachievers. They had some injuries early, and they've lost 3 of their first 4 games.
Once again from Cardinal Stadium, I'm Pete Campisi. Doing our color is Jim Frazier and Paul Horning. We appreciate you gentlemen joining us today. We've got a 3rd down and 13 at the 30-yard line for Harrodsburg. Matherly drops back to pass. He pumps. He fires up the sideline over the head of Gary Ford. Oh, boy, I tell you what, had he caught that one, it would have been enough for a first down.
Yep. And there's some guys open in the secondary, something that a lot of the folks from Pikeville haven't seen, because usually the defensive backs and the defensive secondary, they're really doing a fine job.
We do have a 4th down and 14. Once again, the ball is at the 30-yard line. Back to punt will be Brad Matherly, the quarterback. Deep for Pikeville is number 34, Hackney. The snap is back. The punt is away, and it's a short, very high punt, very short. It looks as though the ball's going to bounce down. It is bounced, and of course down right there at that point by Joey Yates. Had he let the ball go, it would have taken Harrodsburg bounce and possibly given Pikeville a little worse field position.
Absolutely. Natural reaction just to catch the football. He stopped probably another 10 yards at least. So everything that was going for Harrodsburg in the first half going against him this one.
At 3:53 left in the third quarter, it's Pikeville ball. They have it at the 47-yard line. They're in the wishbone formation. The snap back and the handoff is to Hackney. He goes over left guard and picks up 4 yards. Good blocking up front by Harrodsburg, and the tackle by Jermaine Dunn for Harrodsburg.
Seemingly Pikeville now getting 4 or 5 yards a pop. You'll see it right here as he just blows it right up the gut. Harrodsburg not laying down, though. You'll see a couple of 3 white shirts come up to by Jermaine Dunn there to make the stop.
2nd and 5, the handoff back to Doremus. He sort of cuts back across the center and left guard area, slides across to the 45-yard line. The ball's being spotted. That'll make a 3rd down and 3. In on the tackle again was Jermaine Dunn.
Clock ticking down as we go inside 3 minutes to play in the third quarter here.
3rd down and 2. The ball's at the 45-yard line. Howard calling signals and hands back to Doremus, who dives over the line of scrimmage. Looks as though he's going to be very close to that 1st down area. The way the ball is being spotted, it does not appear from this angle, Paul, that it's going to be a 1st down. So
4th down, about a yard.
Will be 4th down and less than a yard. 4th down and a foot.
Well, of course, the fans scream to go for it here, Paul.
Why not? I don't think they can stop. They haven't stopped him yet. Any kind of a loss, unless they tried to go wide. Everything up the middle, those guards and tackles, pretty good blocker.
He down, 4th and 1. It's a handoff to Hackney. And he goes straight ahead and appears to have the 1st down on that left side, blocking up front for Pikeville, John Pinson and Aaron Balser. And it appears as though he does have the 1st down. Yes, it is. It is signal a 1st down. The ball's at the 41-yard line into Harrodsburg territory.
Well, just as you mentioned, Pete, nice blocking up on the left side of the line. And Greg Hackney just keeps those legs turning.
Howard is back to pass. Oh, my goodness, it was almost picked off.
Look at him limp.
Picked off, yes. Look at Michael Yates limping. Had he picked that ball off, there would have been no one to confront him going, because he would have run that thing all the way back for a touchdown.
Even with his skimpy leg, if you see him limping there, he would have scored 6 there.
Even with his gimpy leg is right.
You won't see that kid throw too many more footballs, I don't think. They're going to keep it on the ground. The coach said, "Woo, I got away with that."
I believe you're right, Paul. 2nd down and 10. Howard hands off left side. That's over there to Hackney. Hackney over the left side picks up 8 big yards. The ball is now down, being spotted rather, at the 33-yard line.
Once again, just good blocking up front. And Greg Hackney has the quick feet that you just can't coach, fellas. And he's into the secondary really just before you know it.
3rd down and 3. The ball's at the 33. Pikeville's up in a wishbone formation this time. And the handoff is back to Hackney. He cuts off the right side, and he picks up 7 yards. It looks as though he's got plenty of enough yardage, gentlemen, for the 1st down for Pikeville. The ball is going to be spotted at the 26-yard line.
How about Brad Matherly coming up to make the stop? He's playing well on both sides of the ball.
Yes, he certainly is. We'll see you take a look here.
Can you come on here and say a few words here? Coach Snellenberger stepped into the box here, and I don't know, that might be against some goofy rule. Oh, okay. Well, I'll let you get on the mic here.
Well, we do have a timeout. It's a perfect position for a timeout. We're going to welcome Coach Howard Snellenberger, the head football coach here at the University of Louisville. Coach, what do you think about this single-A playoff game at this point in time?
Well, Pete, I'm really impressed with both of these football teams, and particularly the Harrodsburg football team, who came in here as decisive underdogs. I understand they've got 20 players dressed over there, and they have really battled Pikeville right down to the wire. And of course, it's anybody's ball game right now. Obviously, I'm really impressed with both ball clubs, and Pikeville's superior size and strength is beginning to show off now. But I still think there's a lot of football to be played, and there's anybody's game at this juncture.
I think you're exactly right. And we mentioned pregame, Coach, all the work that you have done to help put these broadcasts on the air for the Friends of Kentucky and all the different people that have put forth the effort. We appreciate your effort and all the hard work that you've done.
Well, Pete and Paul, I appreciate you guys volunteering your time to come in here.
Volunteering.
Hell, you're not.
Wait a minute. I'm not about you're paying us out of your own pocket.
Get back to the game.
We're doing this for nothing,
Get back to the game.
First down and 10. It's a handoff. No, it's not. It's a fake. And Howard keeps the ball. He picks up 1 yard, takes the ball up to the 25-yard line. He fakes quite well. That ball looked as though it was going to be handed off to Hackney, but he faked it to Hackney and actually ran the ball around the right side himself.
I was just kidding. This is our pleasure. I was telling Pete 25 years ago I was working. I did some high school football here in the Louisville area, and it's really been about that time since I've seen a live high school football game.
Second down and 9. That's a fake handoff. No, it's not. Hackney got the ball, and he looks as though he lost some yardage. Chris Browning in on that tackle for Harrodsburg. Now that's going to make down a very crucial third down and 10. He actually lost about a half a yard, but it will be it looks as though it'd be a third down and 10.
Well, of course, Chris Browning was one of the fellows that they helped off to the side of the field.
I was just saying that we've got about 3 of those kids that were hurt who are playing injured right now. So, as they say, they're cutting it up.
Third down and 10, and it's a draw play. Number 34, Hackney, busts off left side, breaks the tackle at the 15, and he runs down inside the 15-yard line to about the 13. Good blocking up front, a very hard running by Greg Hackney.
Well, what a play there. 3rd and 11 to go for the first down. Normally a passing situation, but they give it to Hackney, and he picks up 14.
So many times I've seen that this year, Paul. They're just not in a passing situation when it's 3rd and long.
Well, they're not a passing team, period, right?
Right.
As the third quarter ends here at Cardinal Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky, we have Harrodsburg 10, Pikeville High School 14. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Wisteria Lodge, Mr. Holmes.
This week on Mystery, a simple case becomes complex when Holmes encounters a secret society bent on revenge.
He's waiting to dispatch you to hell. You fiends.
Who is this man, Henderson? One of the most dangerous men out of Central America.
Wisteria Lodge, next on Mystery.
Saturday night at 9, 8 Central Time.
Pikeville 14, Harrodsburg 10. We have a first down at the 13-yard line for Pikeville. They come up to the line of scrimmage. The backs are in a divide. 2 tight ends, a wide receiver out to the left, and we have a little premature movement at the line of scrimmage as the flags go flying.
Well, they don't give you a chance to get back in high school, do you? Now, that wasn't really, any contact at all. He just moved forward, got back right away, but once you get in that encroachment zone, it's offsides. I didn't know they called it that close in high school.
Well, they obviously do, Paul, and at, of course, the college games that you and I both have done, they do not call it, so it's a little unusual to see. As you see the score there on your screen, Pikeville 14, Harrodsburg 10. We're just now starting the 4th and final quarter of the single-A state championship game. And we've got 11:59, as a matter of fact, left in this 4th quarter. We have first down and 5. Pikeville is up at the line of scrimmage in the wishbone formation this time, and it's a handoff to Hackney. He's around off the left side, takes the ball down to the 1-yard line. There he's met at the 1-yard line by a number of Harrodsburg players. Number 65, Larry Wilhelm, was in on the tackle on that one.
Once again, a big hole for Hackney as he takes it off the left side. Nice blocking by Balzer and Pinson. And then you see Willem coming up, and also coming up to finish off the tackle is Michael Yates.
First and goal at the 2-yard line. Pikeville in the wishbone formation. It's a hand back to Hackney again. Powers over that left side for a Pikeville score. Puts the Panthers up 20-10.
the Panthers. They're going to keep it on the ground and just grind it right at you. They're down 10-0 coming into the second half, but they have just really took it at the Harrodsburg Pioneers here in this second stanza.
The pitch back, the kick is up. The kick is good. Pikeville 21, Harrodsburg High School 10. I tell you what, very impressive opening this second half for Pikeville. Gentlemen, the way they have bounced back. I guess that opening kickoff of the second half did sort of take some of the wind out of the Harrodsburg Pioneers.
Like killed them both offensively and defensively. The Harrodsburg offense, I think some of those kids got a couple of injuries, some of their skilled people. You know, Michael Yates, for one, can't run at full speed. Offensively, they're not the same team nor defense.
Of course, Harrodsburg did have some chances. I was sort of I was ready to kiss them off, but you know that
that interception could have been 6 points. That was a big turn right there that he just couldn't hold on to the football. An easy interception, actually.
And also a wide open Chris Bird on a fast play right down the middle where the ball was sort of came off the side of Brad Matherly's hand, and he couldn't quite get the ball down deep enough to him. So they have had a couple of scoring opportunities, one on defense and one on offense, as we take a look at the sun side of the Cardinal Stadium here. That's the warm side. Of course, that's Harrodsburg's side for today's game. And on this other side, which is under shade, of course, if it were raining, they'd be glad they'd be under shade because it'd be also under cover.
You notice how quickly Schnellenberger denied that he was going to pay us. He's tighter than a $3 dead heat.
I tell you what.
I've known him for so long. He's got his first quarter.
Our time is
probably
expensive.
The richest coach in America.
Could possibly be. Our time is expensive, though, Paul and Jim. I mean, we've got things to do and places to see and people to go. I tell you what, he'll get a bill one of these days. Somehow, some way.
He's the best.
He certainly has done a tremendous job.
Oh, what a job Hart's done here. Turned this program around. And I tell you, I hate to look at the schedule next year for U of L.
Yes, they do. They open up with West Virginia. They don't open up with West Virginia. I believe they open up with Wyoming, but they also have West Virginia on there. As we look at the kickoff after the Pikeville touchdown, and once again, it's a squib kick. Picked up at the 40, Bird up at the 45, and then finally brought down.
Now, this is great field position here. Let's see what Brad can do. I see Mr. Yates limping on there, Jim, so he's not 100%.
Yeah, no question about that, but the Pioneers, no quit in them. But, you know, in talking with Coach Johnson earlier in the week, he said, you know, if you're in condition, you ought to be able to go both ways.
Look at this kid limp off. You can't see it. We don't have a camera on, Jim, but
I just don't believe that he was counting on playing a team as physical as Pikeville, because they have really taken it to the Pioneers.
1st and 10 for Harrodsburg. The ball is at their own 45-yard line. We do have a flag. The officials come in and discuss. It could possibly be a delay game, the only thing I can think about.
I don't know, the delay game is usually from the back judge there, so let's see.
Let them play. What are they trying to do? I hate all this. This is ridiculous.
Equipment violation.
We have an equipment violation. That could be a mouthpiece. It could be some type of headgear.
He's got a gun. I know it is.
Now they're going to start at their own 40-yard line. It is 1st down and 15. We have 11-12 left in the 4th quarter. State High School Championship game, single A, right here. Matherly is calling plays. He drops back to pass. He has good protection across the middle. Going is number 29, Michael Yates. But the ball was overthrown by Matherly. Good protection back there by the offensive lineman for Harrodsburg.
Yeah, he had all day to throw, but once again, Pikeville knows they've got to throw so they can drop back in those deep zones.
But now the patterns that I'm seeing that Harrodsburg's throwing, they throw the football and hope. You know, it's kind of like a hope pass. It's not the same patterns that they were throwing in the 1st quarter when they were controlling the football game. They were going down from the slot, doing a corner, and doing a little sideline pass. Right here, he just throws it up for grabs. He's double covered back there, and that could have been intercepted. But right now, Matherly's offense is not anywhere close to what it was. No determination on the offense at all. It's just throwing it up there for grabs.
2nd down and 15. Yates in motion. Matherly back to pass, and it was throwing out to Yates out into the flat, but Yates got tripped up either by one of the opponents or tripped up by the AstroTurf. Of course, he is limping. He did hurt either his ankle or leg, one of those parts earlier in the game.
Right. He could have fallen down just from being tired, too, because they've gone both sides of the ball. Noticing that Pikeville has once again sort of dropped back into like a 4-3 defense as they put Honaker now back in at the middle linebacker. So you don't see a whole lot of defensive tackles drop back to play middle linebacker.
Well, the toughest thing to do is to teach kids how to play defense in the secondary. And if you've got a quarterback to throw the football and somebody can catch it, you've got a really a chance to be the best. But it's
Matherly
real
back to
tough
pass
here.
again. Out of the backfield comes Ford, and the ball is underthrown. So that will put Harrodsburg in a 4th down and 15. Of course, that also puts him into a punting situation.
I tell you, Pikeville has such excellent punt return teams. We'll get to that in just a moment here. As you see Matherly go back to pass. And just like Paul was saying, they're really not as definitive in their patterns now. It's just more or less a hope situation. Tim McNamee coming up with a little pressure there. And the pass falls incomplete.
Okay, Harrodsburg up to punt. Matherly back. The punt is away, and it goes off the side of his foot. It's going to be a very, very short punt. It comes down at the 41-yard line, and there it is downed by number 5, Joey Yates. So here we have Pikeville in excellent field position with the ball at their own 41-yard line. Now, I couldn't tell, Jim and Paul, if that ball was blocked.
No, it wasn't blocked.
Or if it just came off the
just
side
a very
of his
poor
foot.
punt. Very poor punt.
See across the way, looks like some of the military boys are coming in for this AA game.
Yes, we have, of course, Fort Knox in the AA game. At 10:31 and counting in this 4th quarter. Pikeville up 21-10 over Harrodsburg. Pikeville has the ball at their own 41-yard line. Howard hands back to Doremus. Doremus around the left end, big hole, and he drives the ball up past the 50-yard line. Good blocking over there. In on the tackle for Harrodsburg was Gary Ford.
Ford's played his heart out, too. He's been hurt. But, as Jim said, team's coming to the top now, especially in the offensive line, and they're just opening up gaping holes for the running backs.
So we have a 2nd down and less than a yard. The ball's just across midfield into Harrodsburg territory. Pikeville up, the backs in a divide, one flank, and there's a straight handoff right straight ahead to Hackney. He picks up 5 yards, dives across the 45-yard line to pick up the Pikeville 1st down. The tackle by Chris Freeman for Harrodsburg.
Good blocking up front. These Pikeville Panthers, they've got 24 seniors. And you see one of those fine seniors right there, Greg Hackney, on the game.
1st down and 10. The ball spotted at the 44-yard line of Harrodsburg. Howard takes the handoff, fakes the ball to Hackney, and then keeps behind him and picks up about 4 yards as he dives just across the 40-yard line. And then the tackle was Chris Freeman again from his defensive position.
Now Jason Howard, he's the son of the coach. I think he's done a fine job here tonight. Should say this afternoon.
He did not start at the beginning of the season. Is that right, Jim? I understand that Kevin Arnold started for a while, and then Jason came in relief during one of the ball games.
That is correct.
2nd down and 6, and it's a handoff to Hackney. He pounds over the left side, picks up about another 5 yards. That'll place it a very close 3rd down and about 1 or 2. Chris Freeman for the 3rd tackle in a row. He's making a lot of tackles. That's Chris Freeman.
If I were going against Hackney and the Pikeville Panthers, I'd put a linebacker, maybe 2 of them. I wouldn't care where Hackney lined up. That's the guy I'd key. There'd be a linebacker there waiting for him every time.
I think that's exactly what Tim Saylor did from Pineville and had a lot of success a couple of games ago for Pikeville.
3rd down and 2. Doremus straight ahead on the counter dive, picks up 5 yards, and a Panther 1st down. The ball looks to be spotted at the 31-yard line. I tell you what, the big offensive line for Pikeville is beginning to wear down Harrodsburg.
Harrodsburg's battled hard. I think they've given Pikeville all they wanted and a lot more than they expected.
8:49 left in the 4th quarter. Pikeville up 21-10 over Harrodsburg. They are in possession, driving the ball now inside Pioneer territory. The ball is at the 31-yard line. 1st and 10. Wishbone formation by Pikeville. Counter back to number 30, and that's David Honecker for Pikeville running the ball. He also doubles and plays a lot of defense for Pikeville.
And there you see the handoff to David Honecker, and he'll take it up. Not a whole lot of room as Harrodsburg comes in to shut him down after it's like a pickup of about 4 yards on the play.
2nd down and 7. The ball's at the 27. Left hash mark. The sun is starting to set behind Cardinal Stadium. The players are in the shaded area at this point in time. Pikeville up. It's a wishbone formation. Howard hands back to Doremus. Doremus off left tackle. Fights his way forward to the 25-yard line. Picks up good yardage for Pikeville. And it was a slew of Harrodsburg players in on the tackle on that one.
Pikeville running it off the left side, and actually they've gotten a lot of yardage through the year, obviously on both sides, but Tim Honecker and Sean Neely are a couple of fine players off to the right side that can get it done.
3rd down and 5. The ball's at the 25.5-yard line. Pikeville in a wishbone formation. Counter dive to Hackney. Breaks a tackle, fights across the 20-yard line. That will be a 1st down for Pikeville. Good blocking once again on that left front side for Pikeville. We have John Pinson at the left guard position. Of course, center Donald Bentley. Aaron Blazer at that left tackle position. Good blocking by the Panthers.
I'll tell you, Harrodsburg has been on defense the whole second half. I don't think we have a 1st down for Harrodsburg here in the second half.
I believe you're right, Paul.
It's been the 1-2-3 punt deal, and they've scored every time they've had the football.
Big hit.
Pikeville.
Big hit by Harrodsburg. Neil Pankey pounded one of the running backs, number 25, David Cox, on the straight handoff. Of course, Cox plays the fullback position in that wishbone. He only picked up 1 yard. It will be 2nd down and 9. The ball's at the 18-yard line. 6:35 and counting. Harrodsburg's got to make a move here. What'd you say, guys?
Good thing we got old Jim Billy Bob Frazier with us to know all these kids.
You're right. He's doing a tremendous job. It's a handoff to Hackney. He starts around the right end, cuts back, picks up 3 yards, takes the ball down to the 15-yard line. Brad Matherly in on that. Also Gary Ford in on the tackle on that one for Harrodsburg. 3rd down and 5 will be the next situation. We see a couple substitutes for Pikeville coming in. Number 7, Jim McNamee. He comes in at that tight end position, does he not, Jim?
Yeah, he'll line up on the tight end off to the left side this time.
3rd and 5. I formation, hand back to Hackney. He only picks up about 2 yards. That'll put Pikeville in a fourth down and 3 position.
And I believe you'll see Pikeville now maybe go for the kick. I see some of the assistant coaches and head coaches talking about it right now. They do have a fine kicker in Mike McCoy. However, this is probably 4-down territory for them. I've got to believe they probably feel they can make the yardage.
Yeah, give it to Hackney.
Get to Hackney or Doremus, one of those two. I mean, they've got an awful lot of yardage this year. I mean, a lot of teams, they don't have total yardage of what
I'm going to bet this number's 34. What do you want to bet on that?
I bet it's 42. 4th down and 3. The ball's at the 12-yard line. And
come on. Now,
it's not going to be either one of them, Paul.
That's not all sides. It is in high school.
Well, in the first quarter, it was the quarterback Matherly getting Doremus to jump off sides and to put Harrodsburg in a few 1st down and 5s. But this second half, it seems as though Harrodsburg now is doing the encroachment, and that now actually gives Pikeville a 1st down inside the 10-yard line on the penalty. So the ball will be spotted at the 8-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal at the 8. We're down to 5 minutes left in the game. Once again, Pikeville up 21-10. They're up at the line of scrimmage. Howard calling signals. They're in a pro set this time. And it's a fake into the line of scrimmage, and it's a pass, and it's knocked away. Brilliant play by number 9, Gary Ford for Harrodsburg. Absolutely snapped that ball just away, just before the reception.
Trying to go to Jason Justice. He was seemingly open, but a nice play there by Harrodsburg. They come up to bat it away.
There's been a number of Justices play football up in Pikeville. I can remember a few years back.
Here we go with Hackney.
Here we go with Hackney. All right. 2nd down. Hackney over the left side. He's running. And a number of Harrodsburg players pile them up. We see Joey Ford there, and also Neil Pankey is in on the tackle. But that did drive the ball down to the 5-yard line. 3rd and goal at the 5.
Well, I tell you what, gentlemen, it may be Pikeville walking away with the title, but I think Harrodsburg walks away with a lot of respect here because they have just hung in the whole way and fought this thing. They fought Pikeville tooth and nail, as they say, right down the stretch.
They certainly have. 3rd down and 5. The ball is on the left hash. Pikeville comes up in the wishbone formation. Jason Howard calling signals, and he hands back to Doremus. Doremus over the right side takes the ball down to about the 2-yard line. Boy, what a hole that was, and all of a sudden it was closed by the Harrodsburg defenders. Good blocking up front, that's right. 4th down and goal.
Well, Harrodsburg won't quit. 4th down, and you wonder if Pikeville will just go ahead and try and ram it on in.
Here comes McNamee in.
Hackney.
Kevin Arnold comes out.
You like Doremus? I like Hackney here.
Okay, I'm going to go for Doremus. Doremus. The ball is at the 2-yard line. 2nd and goal to 2, and it is to Hackney over the left guard position for the score. Puts Pikeville up, and I was going to say it the way they do in Pikeville, because I got some friends from Pikeville.
There you go.
Yes, I do. That puts Pikeville up 27 to 10.
Greg Hackney tacks on another touchdown. He's the leading scorer in the history of Panther football. You saw him there just for a moment on your screen, and he tacks up another 6.
Yeah, 332 points. Don't look it up. I studied that all night last night.
Well, there's one more point. Talking about points, kick is good. That puts the Panthers up 28 to 10 over Harrodsburg. We got 3:26 left in the game, and if Harrodsburg's going to do anything, they're going to have to do it real quick here, gentlemen. Let's take a look at the play.
See where his knee hit. See if we can pick it up.
TD.
Good blocking up front by the lineman.
Well, it all goes back to the opening kickoff, fellas, of the second half.
Right.
That was the momentum shift that Pikeville needed.
It certainly was, and if you joined us late, the opening kickoff of the second half was fielded by Gary Ford at about the 8-yard line. He came forward and was stripped of the ball. The ball bounced up in the air, and the place kicker picked it up and ran for a touchdown and absolutely just turned the tables right away on the game. Once again, this is Pete Campisi and Paul Horning and Jim Frazier from Cardinal Stadium covering the Single-A Championship. Bird picks up the squib kick and runs it out across the 40 to 44. He's still fighting. The ball is finally downed at the 44-yard line for Harrodsburg.
You know, they've had good field position, too, here in the second half. They have yet to make a first down.
I believe you're right, Paul. I'll tell you, this defense of Pikeville certainly has taken charge.
I think Coach Howard saw some of the big returns early in this game, Paul, and he's not going to give them an opportunity to make the big return. He's just going to kick it along the ground.
Why not, though? I mean, that's a big return as far as I'm concerned, to give up the football at the 45-yard line.
First down and 10 for Harrodsburg. Matherly rolls right. He's going to pass. He throws back across the grain, and it's caught almost for a first down by number 29, Michael Yates. Very good play. He was wide open. Had the ball been thrown a little further, he could have picked up even more yardage.
Another nice play by Matherly. He's won a lot of hearts here with his play today.
He certainly has. It was not enough for a first down. We will have second down and less than a yard. We got down to 2:33 in the fourth quarter. Harrodsburg comes up to the line of scrimmage. They're a little tired. They look at too, Paul, don't they? Sort of walking up toward the line of scrimmage.
Tired.
I formation, wing right. Matherly pitch back. Ford looks as though he's going to throw, and he's sacked back across the 50-yard line, all the way back to the original line of scrimmage. In on the play was...
They made a mistake here. They're trying to run it's similar to an option. It's a pitch, and he has the option to run it or throw it when he gets to the outside, and he didn't fake the run at all. As soon as he catches the football, he's starting to slow up. It doesn't fake anybody out. They put enough pressure on him where they're going to come up with the sack here. Number 51 for Pikeville made a very, very fine defensive play, and he's not listed in here in our program, number 51.
I'm not sure. Perhaps that was Hayes Gullett, but I'm not sure.
3rd down and 8. Matherly drops back, lets one go, and it's way high, thrown way over the head of Joey Yates. We'd like to mention at this time that these games are the sole property of Friends of Kentucky High School Athletics and Adcraft Associates, Inc., and your mountain station, WYMT TV. Any retransmission or rebroadcast of this telecast is prohibited by law unless written permission is granted by the Friends of Kentucky High School Athletics, Adcraft Associates, Inc., and your mountain station, WYMT TV.
Well,
4th down.
Excuse me, Pete. I was just going to say the question now is, can the Pikeville Panthers pull the hat trick? Can they go for 3 in a row? Because it looks like they've tacked up number 2 right here.
It certainly appears, though. 4th down and 8. Harrodsburg is going to go for it. They're in an I formation. Mather drops back to pass. He fakes it to the left side, breaks the tackle, throws it deep. He's got Bird down there deep, and a great defensive play down there by Parker on the defense for Pikeville, and that will be a change of downs, and now Pikeville looks as though they're going to win this one, gentlemen. They should be able to run the clock out against Harrodsburg. They are up 28-10. There's 1:20 left in the ball game, and what an exciting start on this weekend of great state championship football here in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah, Parker was back there. It's just very difficult for him to get anything deep because Pikeville knows that's where they've got to go, and Parker back there to bat it away.
Parker, okay, baby.
Great play. As you see the score on your screen there, we do have a timeout right now by Pikeville.
They must have had a real big party when they named him, I'll tell you that. Huh?
I'll tell you what, here's something else, Mr. Horning. What do you think about that Heisman tomorrow there, boss? You won a Heisman, wasn't a couple years ago, what was that, 72 or 73?
4 or 5 years ago, it seems.
Something like that?
How about 30 years ago?
Oh, come on.
32 years ago.
32 years ago, that's right.
I think Barry Sanders is going to win it.
1956.
I think Rodney Pete, who incidentally is in town here, receiving the Johnny Unitas Quarterback of the Year Award, which will be given Friday night downtown to Hyatt. I'm going to be over there. Honoring Rodney Pete, who's going to win the Johnny Unitas Quarterback of the Year Award. I think he's going to be close, maybe not close, but he's got a chance to win it. So Rodney Pete still got his fingers crossed for that one, too.
Well, 1st down for Pikeville. The ball's at the 47-yard line. It's a handback to one of the other running backs. In there was Brian Lafferty, I believe, was one of the running backs coming through. No, that wasn't Brian. That was number 32, Lance Rose, who is a backup running back, just a sophomore for Pikeville. And of course, Pikeville is substituting quite freely, trying to get some of the younger guys in.
You know, I was in the coal business a couple years ago, and I went down to Hazard, down to Pike County, and they just dosed the coach down there with ice, didn't they?
Oh, is that shiver?
They give the old Bill Parcells treatment.
That makes me cold.
That Harry Carson used to do that to Parcells, the New York Giants, and I'll tell you, if I was a coach, I'd have shot him.
Oh, I know it.
They got the wrong guy, though. They didn't get the head coach down there.
They did. They got the assistant coach. They know better than get the head coach.
Exactly.
Right?
He might have been shot.
Thank you for your cooperation.
We do have 48 seconds. Pikeville did call a timeout. They are leading 28-10. We're at the last quarter of the Single A state championship game, and it looks as though, gentlemen, the Pikeville Panthers are going to salt this away, their 2nd state championship in a row. That's only been done 3 other times.
Listen, I wish we could get a close-up of number 62 down here for Pikeville. He is really something. Left tackle, look at him. Can we get a shot of number 62 up there? Close. He's Mike May, 5 foot tall, 225 pounds, a sophomore. Look at this. I love it. I love it. He loves the game, huh?
You gotta love it.
Fire out there, Mike.
That's it, Mike. Good block.
We have a flag on the play.
You know, you're going to look at this game. You're going to see 28-10, and you're going to think maybe blowout all the way, but no question, it just wasn't that way. Harrodsburg fought them the whole way, just didn't have enough horses to go the whole race.
Really didn't. I tell you, my hat's off to the Harrodsburg team, really.
Good block by Mike there. Well, you know talent, don't you?
No, I said he made a good block there. You
certainly
screen
did.
off that guy, and that's a starter.
He certainly did.
He's only a sophomore.
Only a sophomore. He may come back for the third, possibly the fourth.
Let's see, fire off that football. I want to see that. Fire off that line of scrimmage here, Mike. But I tell you, you got to take your hat off to this Harrodsburg team. They fought their hearts out, as Jim said, but they're just going against a little bit more talent as far as numbers are concerned, and as far as offense is concerned and defense. Pikeville, a lot better football team, really.
Second down and 11. The handoff over the right guard area.
Too big.
A gain of about 4. Talking to Coach Johnson, he mentioned that this year was such a tremendous turnaround. They lost the first 3 out of 4 games, and then came and won 7 in a row, and of course went through the playoffs. And they're just happy as can be to be part of the final 2 teams here at the state championship as the clock winds down.
And of course, 3 seconds left. The 4A championship's going to be a great one. Manual against Trinity. That's really going to be a great matchup.
That certainly will. They're both 13-0 as the Pikeville Panthers, as you can see, start celebrating their second state championship in single A in a row. They won it last year and, of course, again repeated in 1988. It's a classic. Pikeville Panthers win this one 28-10. As you see on your screen, there's Coach Howard being lifted up and carried by the team members. But what a tremendous job by Harrodsburg. We also look at them filing through and congratulating the Pikeville Panthers. Just a tremendous job.
Harrodsburg fought as hard as they could. It's number 29 in a row for Pikeville.
That's great. Congratulations to both coaches. They really have done an excellent job with these young men. To the winner, Coach Hilliard Hard with his Superintendent John Waddell, Principal Thomas Schwartz. Got to be very, very proud. Athletic Director Ken Trevette. And as far as Harrodsburg Pioneers are concerned, the Principal Gary Rye down there. Athletic Director Alvis Johnson and head coach. Boy, what a great job he's done with this football team.
He certainly has, and he's got a lot to be proud about for the way these gentlemen fought back. And even when they played those first 3 out of 4 games, gentlemen, they were against bigger schools. As a matter of fact, one of the losses was at Somerset. Only lost 13-8, and of course Somerset is also in the state finals here in AA.
Right, we'll see them in just a moment. And we will have some post-game interviews with the Pikeville folks, as we're going to send the camera right on into the locker room to have some chats just a little bit later on, Pete.
Well, that's great. That's absolutely super. Well, we thank you for joining us. Kentucky's state championship football, single A champion for the 2nd year in a row. Pikeville wins 28-10 over the Harrodsburg Pioneers. And we'll take a break, and we'll be back for more action for the AA final in a little while.